Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us. We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com. Enjoy the show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Oh, man. As they say, it's on. And once it's on, it lasts until when, Josh?
The break of dawn.
That's right. That's right. By damn, once it's on, you take it smooth to the break of dawn. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. It's Wednesday.
Used to work with a guy, a wise old man, who said, it's never good when the birds beat you home, meaning the birds are already chirping in the morning and you're still out. Nothing good happened, he always used to say.
The break of dawn.
I've always kind of liked that feeling.
Oh, I hated it.
Oh, I hate it.
Especially after he said that. I always thought, I've made some terrible life choices. Why didn't I go to bed like 8 hours ago?
Oh, God. Sorry, I needed to have a little more to drink there. The beginning of the show snuck up on me. It just did. We're a couple days away from the always obnoxious Valentine's Day. Ashley, when are you going to stop being shy about this Galentine's Day thing that our female listeners need to be aware of? This is your thing. You ought to tell the Liz-80s all about it. You ought to get it on until when, Cubby?
The break of dawn.
What's going on Galentine's Day?
We have something really cool going on for the sisterhood.
Sisterhood?
Yes, yeah, the ladies, finally.
Right.
We want to hear your craziest and wildest Valentine's Day story. You can submit your story on 93x.com between now and Thursday at 10 a.m.
Tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, yeah,
10 a.m.
geez, wow, this
Right.
week is...
Well, you missed it.
missed Monday.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah, that's what happens.
That changed things a little bit for me. Yeah, and so whatever story is the wildest or craziest or the funniest, you have a chance to win a beautiful tennis bracelet from our friends at Landmark Jewelers. And the tennis bracelet is valued at over $5,000.
Dang.
So it's a really good deal.
All right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Horror stories, funny stories,
Yeah,
wild
anything you got.
Right.
Do you have any that you can think of, or any friends maybe have told you some good ones over the years?
The only one I've got is, it's kind of just funny and weird, I guess. I went all out for one of my boyfriends on Valentine's Day, and after I presented my gift to him, his gift back to me was, yeah, I'll take you out to coffee sometime
Sometime.
and buy you a coffee.
And you went all out.
Cool. Word, dude. Yeah, I spent like close to probably $100.
So he had forgotten all about it or put it off, procrastinated and didn't end up getting you jack squat.
Yeah, that hurt a little bit.
I mean, you realize that we're going to go out for coffee was a was a split second. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
He had nothing in mind until you gave him whatever it was that was worth $100, and he thought, oh, for Christ's sake, I got to come up with something.
Actually, the boyfriend I was dating at the time was a huge pot smoker. So I acquired a large quantity of weed. I thought it was very sweet. My mom found it, the first batch I bought, and tossed that. So I ended up having to spend even more money getting a second batch of this marijuana. So, yeah, it was a waste of time.
You gave marijuana as a Valentine's Day gift.
There was a couple extra things on the side.
I was just going to make fun of you, but I told you yesterday I have some, I know it's sinful, but some THC seltzers in my basement fridge that I bought for a buddy for Christmas, and I just haven't seen them. So I also am gifting marijuana to somebody. That's the first time I've ever done. Well, I don't know. Is that considered marijuana? I have no idea.
Enough.
It's
Yeah.
close enough, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Marijuana-ish.
Yeah,
It's like Advil.
You were a troubled kid.
Yeah, I
Ashley.
went through some stuff.
But we encourage the ladies, maybe you're saying, I don't know, my story's, maybe you're telling yourself, ladies, your story isn't that great. Send it anyway. Valentine's Day horror stories, funny stories, wacky, whatever. Go to 93x.com. That's a great prize.
I think there might.
We'd love to talk all about your experiences on Friday morning and pick a wiener.
Word on the street is that there are going to be some second and third place prizes as well. So.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, just hope nobody submits anything. You submit yours, and you got a 33. You got a chance to win something.
Were your feelings really hurt by the contrast in gift giving on that Valentine's Day you were telling us about? You gave your boyfriend a big bucket of grass, and he promised to take you out for a coffee.
I remember it slightly irritating me at the time, but being past it, it makes me more angry now. Like looking back, thinking about all of the time and money I wasted on that gift.
And you're thinking,
For
maybe I should have slapped this sumbitch.
Oh, I should have. And
Yeah.
that was like the first year or two we were together, and the 4 or 5 years after that were not great. So I should have took it as a sign.
It's not like he made up for it.
Never.
No, he never made up for it.
Just got
that's
worse.
That's a classic. You set the bar low.
Yep.
Right in the beginning. You're not even much of a coffee drinker, are you?
No.
I was just going to ask that.
No, not at all. At the time, I really liked white hot chocolate. I guess that was something. I think that's what I ended up getting, and I think we ended up going maybe a month or two later.
Hey, this is the makeup for Valentine's Day, babe.
Yeah, I wasn't even involved in Valentine's Day anymore.
You know, I've never been a big Valentine's Day person by any stretch, and I can only think of one of my past relationships where my significant other was big on Valentine's Day, and that was my first wife. And I'll give her a break, for Christ's sake. We were newly married, and she was 22 years old, which still blows my mind that we got married that young, and it never dawned on me that we were the most ill-prepared couple in America.
Right, Ashley?
Oh, yeah. That was even younger than me. That's crazy, dude.
Right. But she was 22 at the time and dug that Valentine's Day vibe, and I got extremely lucky. Our very first Valentine's Day as a married couple, she's asking me, probably beginning around Christmas, you going to make a reservation? You know, we'll go somewhere kind of nice on Valentine's Day. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Put it off. A week later. So we're still Valentine's Day. You're going to find a cool place? Oh, yeah, put it off. There was a time in my life where I was a massive procrastinator. So it was like straight out of a sitcom. Here we are, smack dab, full on, 4-alarm, Valentine's Day itself comes. And I still haven't made a phone call to make a reservation at a restaurant.
Uh-oh.
Matter of fact, I remember coming home from work that day and telling myself, okay, you gotta make, I was convinced I'll find someplace. I came home from work that day, and I told myself, okay, you got to make a phone call. You got to find a place for dinner because this gal has been on your ass for a month and a half. Fell asleep without making the phone call. Woke up, in the afternoon. She comes home. And now I can't make that phone call because she'd overhear me saying, hey, you got any tables available? Right? So now I just tell myself, we're going to get in the car, and I'll just have to wing it. And sure as hell, that's exactly what we did. I'm very excited for tonight. Oh, God, so am I. I can't wait. We're going to go hit this beautiful place. You're going to love it.
You're probably sweating.
Got in the car, had no friggin'... And it dawned on me, okay, there's a steakhouse this way, that way. I don't know, 10 minutes down the road. I pull in the parking lot, walked in. Luckily, they had a table. She never knew a friggin' thing.
You are so lucky.
I just had a thought. Maybe, what if you did this? You go to the restaurant, whatever it is, her favorite restaurant. Even if they're booked up, then you throw just a fit because you lost my reservation.
Right.
I made this a month ago.
I wonder if she would have bought it. As a 22-year-old, she maybe would have bought that charade. But I just absolutely, seat of my pants, whatever the term is, got lucky and we found a spot.
That is, wow, that's really lucky because you have to make reservations just months in advance now.
Now, I believe you're right. And there's so many, because there's like specialty meals and whatnot at certain places.
Yes, I love that.
And there are for Galentine's Day, I noticed too, which is tomorrow, correct? Isn't tomorrow Galentine's Day?
Day after
think-
Valentine's Day.
Oh, I thought it was the 13th this year. Well, anyways, are you planning on doing anything? Do you do anything with your girlfriends? My wife likes to do it.
No, I usually don't.
You don't?
No.
She likes to do it like with the kids and whatnot.
It is February 13th.
Yeah, you were
this
right,
year.
Josh. I was wrong.
But get used to that.
Yeah.
So what's the story? When is Galentine's Day?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. It's the day before Valentine's Day.
I've always wanted to do something cute for it, have my girlfriends over, have a Valentine's Day themed dinner, but then I put it off and procrastinate, and so that's where I'm at.
Oh, just go to the local steakhouse. They'll have a table for you.
Yeah.
Just get in the car and drive.
So now, speaking of, way back in the day, my first wife and, me putting off making a telephone call to make a reservation until it was too late. My current wife, she's been out of town the last couple of days, but of course, we've had a few conversations, and she said, not that either one of us are big on, yay, love, and all that crap, but she said, do you want to go out? Maybe Thursday night, maybe the night before Valentine's Day. I said, sure. And we're not going anywhere special. It's just a joint we like. But she tells me, or I told her, I said, don't worry about it. I'll make a phone call. I'll get us a table somewhere. And she said, no, you're not going to do that. And I said, why? And she said, because no one does that anymore. They don't make telephone calls to the restaurant to make a reservation.
Yeah, they don't.
They use apps. And I said, well, I don't know how to use an app. I want to make a telephone call. What's wrong with nobody does that anymore. It's stupid. You'll sound like an old man if you make a telephone call. So I said,
We've been shot down making a phone call where they say you got to do it online.
I'm sorry?
We've been shot down calling to make a reservation.
Really?
They say, no, you have to do it online.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And now some places are charging if you don't show up.
Yep.
I mean, not that we do that, but I just read an article the other day saying that's more and more common.
So we fought on the phone, she and I. She's out of town somewhere. We fought on the phone over this. And I said, I don't know why you won't let me do this. I don't give a rat's ass if I come off old or if apps are the hip new thing. I want to make a friggin' telephone call. Let's make these people work for a living over there. In the end, when I wasn't looking, she made a reservation with an app.
Yeah, it probably took her like 2 seconds, too.
Yeah.
And while you guys were talking.
There's a place by us that you can't even call and place an order over the phone. They want you to do it all online.
That's crazy.
Even if I would have tried, they maybe would have told me to.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what happened to us. We were shot down where they said, no, you got to do it all online.
She probably wanted to save the embarrassment of when you guys went in there. This is the couple that made the reservation over the phone.
I want that. That's how it was supposed to be done. That's how it should be done.
You probably startled the staff if you would call them. What is that noise?
Me and my fiance haven't gone out for Valentine's dinner for the last 2 years. Instead, we sit at home, which is totally cool. I like to cook a lot, so I'll make like a 3-course meal. It's a lot of fun, but I do miss going out because I like judging other people. Like, one of my favorite activities.
What do you mean?
Let me explain. All right. It is awful. I'm an awful person for this, but it's fun. You can always tell if you look around the restaurant, like, who are the new couples? or who's even boyfriend and girlfriend? Who's been together for too long? They don't like each other anymore.
Who's breaking up soon?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think we all, I mean, not that it's a regular thing, but I think a lot of us can notice the difference between who's new, who's old, who's happy, who's unhappy. Sure.
And that's especially fun on Valentine's Day because that's all it is couples.
You know who really screwed up? Sprinkler fitter Jesus. He said, I effed up a lot many years ago. My wife and I had our first date ever on Valentine's Day, and he said he has to do something every year on that god-awful day.
Oh, no.
I was going to ask Ashley and Dana, this will be your last Valentine's Day before you're married, remarried, both of you. Mm-hmm. Do you guys, are you going to make it special, or Ashley, are you going to do the 3-course meal like you were talking about?
3-course meal deal at home.
I'm going to Ashley's for a 3-course meal.
Oh, were you invited?
No,
You were not.
She's just finding out about this now.
And
No,
Waffle.
we have nothing planned.
Well, now
We
that-
have 2 extra chairs. You
Now
can
that I
come on
know
over.
Dana's going to be there, I'll stick around for 1 course, maybe. I don't think I can make it through 3.
And Wapple, I know how you are, so do you have an elderly lady in your life right now? Maybe you'll be taken out for Valentine's Day?
She's not elderly, but I'll be taking someone to Valentine's Day.
Oh, got a little bit of a date, don't you?
Yep.
Nice work. Yeah, here we go. John Deere Jesus said he and his girlfriend get the Heart Pizza every year. then bang.
The heart pizza's kind of fun.
Those are bomb.
We get that. Or the jack-o'-lantern pizza for every Halloween.
Why is that so fun? Just being in a different shape in a circle.
It's the same thing, but a different shape. You're right.
And it's
But
kind of awkward to eat, too, because you're like, how do I cut this thing?
I look forward to that every year.
I had a friend who took it really hard many years ago. Going back to Ashley's Valentine's Day story where she went all out and bought her boyfriend $100 worth of illegal drugs and all he promised her was a trip to a coffee shop. There are people, as you know, who really take that kind of thing hard if their significant other doesn't make what they believe to be enough of an effort when it comes to gift giving. This was a buddy of mine who I had never seen this side of him. Now, this wasn't Valentine's Day. This was Christmas. And we all filed into the neighborhood bar on Christmas Day, I think, Our Christmases were over, so let's get back together at the neighborhood bar and drink ourselves sideways. And we were still pretty young guys, I'd say early 30s. And that cliche sad drunk at the bar that you see in movies and television? He's unshaved and he's got the beer in his hand, kind of staring off into the distance. That was the appearance of one of my friends when we walked into the bar and we said, dude, you look like garbage. What's up? Well, what had happened was on Christmas Eve, he got together with his girlfriend and they exchanged gifts. And she didn't get him anything. Got him a card, I think. And he had purchased her a brand new big screen TV or something like that.
Oh, that sucks.
And he was just crushed. I had never seen him in that condition before or since. But, some folks, I don't think it's materialistic, really. It's just they want an effort to be made, and they'd prefer it if that effort was equal. And, boy, it wasn't. And he was tough to cheer up that night. He was just draining tap beers, too. I'm talking about, drinking away your sorrows. There was no talking to that. We just left him alone. We left him alone.
That sucks. I would have took my TV back.
This is mine now.
You don't deserve this TV.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he took that one to the pills. It was fun watching him just kind of sitting over there. You know what I mean?
Just salting his beer down with his tears.
Yeah, all night long, too. We partied all night. And he's just sitting alone. Down in the dumps. All right, I was reading. And I kind of really dislike this kind of stuff. Because, like I said, I'm not a Valentine's Day person. But, all right, here's some Valentine's Day statistics. All right. Most women would rather stay in than go out. They think a home-cooked meal is more romantic.
Yeah, then you don't have to, starve all day to look good in your dress, too.
Oh, I hear you, sister.
Yes.
Preach.
That was another downside about going out.
Dressing up?
Yeah.
Most women think that Valentine's Day proposals are overrated. So if you're planning to propose Friday, there's one more thing to stress about, I guess. And then they cover some of the trendy spots that people will be going to.
Oh.
I'm not just going to take my girlfriend to a restaurant. I want to go somewhere trendy. What are all the hip young people doing?
Oh, is mini golf on there?
No. Arcade, zoos, spas, and this is the one that grabbed me. The paint and sip party.
Oh, those are massive now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, you sit around, you drink wine, and you make a painting.
Oh, God. Yeah, that grabbed me because I'd never heard of that before.
Have you seen those paint your plate or different things like that where you go?
No.
You can sometimes. Anyways, basically you have a blank coffee cup and then you can make a design on it, and then they fire it or whatever they do to.
I've never been more angry in my entire life.
It's like kids and couples is all I've ever seen there. When our kids were younger, they used to like to go, right? And they make a real ugly plate. And you're like, oh, my God, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. Wow, you're going to be a future artist. And then you just go home and throw it away and hope they don't notice.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you see that, or, sometimes it's couples.
Paint and sip party. It says here, you paint while you drink.
I'm going to piss you off even more. My fiance got us that type of thing to do at home on Valentine's Day.
I hate him.
But I'm really into art, though, so I thought that was pretty darn cute.
Yeah, for you, that is nice, a nice gesture.
Yeah, my wife is a very good doodler, as you are. So she likes to do that kind of thing.
I think you're supposed to paint something along, like there's supposed to be similar paintings. And he was talking about how he's going to be working on it for hours, and I'm going to get it done in like 30 minutes. Yeah, well, all right.
When I first read this, I thought possibly people were painting walls.
Oh, gosh. That would what?
Or fences or something.
What?
Well, it's only because a buddy of mine likes to pull that scam now and again. Hey, you guys, want to come over this Saturday? I'll get a keg of beer, some pizza. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, and I'm painting the fence, so if you want to, chip in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We have a former coworker here who got a new roof and fence that way.
It's such a scam. It's a friggin' scam.
Oh, the fence, you've heard that one before. But the roof, that was new to me. I'd never heard of somebody having a roof party.
He had people up on his roof doing work for him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
That off.
Well,
It was a very personable guy, and he liked to drink, and a lot of his friends did. And I asked him, what'd you do over the weekend? He's like, oh, yeah, I had a bunch of friends over, and we put up a new roof. I just bought some beer and pizza, and everybody was cool with it.
Wow.
I went over.
A lot of people died that day.
No one survived.
Years ago, I agreed to that kind of a thing. Hey, I'm building a fence, but I'll also have a keg and some pizza. So, if you guys want to stop by, you don't have to stop by, but if you want to stop by, lend a hand, that'd be great. And I immediately said to myself, douchebag. But I went over there, and I wasn't the only one. There was like a dozen guys there. But I did the right thing. I just drank the beer and ate the pizza and didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah.
It's not my job to build a fence for you.
There's a bunch of guys over there.
A handful of slices of cold pepperoni pizza and a few glasses of friggin' Busch Light is not going to get me to build anyone's friggin' fence for them.
At least you were told ahead of time, because a friend of mine over the weekend found out he was invited to a help me refinish my basement party. Nobody told him. He had no idea. And he's in the trades, so there's a couple guys that were there for that reason.
Cheap bastards.
Isn't that always the payment, too, if you help someone move? Beer and pizza?
Pizza and beer.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but that's over in a couple hours, for Christ's sake. You're not building a fence.
Dudes with their shirts off.
Yeah. Get a good sweat going.
Yeah.
Tonka TIG Welding Jesus said, hey, you know what? Sometimes there's nothing better than some roof beers. Sure. That's where you want to be drinking. I have no experience doing that. Give me a couple of beers. Give me some sort of power nailer and put me up there without a rope.
I want to be elevated and with a weapon in my hand. Yeah. But you're a great crowd. What do we got going on today? Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. Yeah.
The dynamic duo.
They'll be stopping by, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. What about you, Cubby?
Valentine's Day?
Right.
No, my wife, we have to be very clear because we've had it in the past where we both say, no, we don't want anything for this holiday or whatever. But
no.
Somebody would get their favorite snacks or something, and then you feel like a douchebag. So we're very good at that. But she's going on a couple trips this year, so she's considering that her Valentine's Day present.
She's going on a couple of trips.
Yeah. Go watch the Twins in Boston, and then I forget she's going somewhere this month with her mom.
Have you ever had the mixed messages where she says she doesn't want to do anything special, and then when the day comes, she says, oh, I thought you were going to plan something special, and you say, well, but you said you didn't want anything, and then she says, well, I know I didn't say that I want, but you should have known that I want. Have you played that game?
Not with my wife, but I had everybody I dated before her, for the most part, and you can attest to this, was very high maintenance.
Most girls love surprises like that. There's a very select few that don't enjoy that.
And I understand they want you to put the thought into it, but when somebody says don't, and you, even if you want to, it's like, well, I know what it's like when you say don't and somebody does something anyways, you feel like the world's biggest jerk. So you try and honor that. But yeah, that's a no-win situation. I still get nervous. I've been with my wife for 20 years, and she's like that. She's honest. But I do get nervous at times that maybe she's hoping for something.
Poor bastard, you've been put in that corner before with ex-girlfriends.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know I didn't say that, but you should have anticipated that I would offer.
I've never lied like that. I've told people straight up when we start dating, hey, just letting you know, I really do like Valentine's Day, and I expect it to be kind of an ordeal. I like it a lot.
I had a man do that to me once.
Oh, really?
A man!
What's the situation there?
A man, I said. Well, it's a little different. It was his bachelor party. And I was technically the best man. So, as the best man, you want to find out what do you call him, the groom?
Yep.
You got to find out what the groom wants at his bachelor party. What do you want to do, I said. He said, well, let's get a bunch of drugs and beer. We'll host it at my house, and then we'll order some pizza, and we'll play cards and this and that, right? And I said, do you want strippers? No. Nah. I mean, I want them, but it's too much trouble. We could probably get in some trouble if you got strippers. So I said, okay, holler at me if you change your mind. Never said a word. The night comes. We're doing the drugs, we're drinking the drinks, we're playing the cards, house full of donkeys. And about midnight, he walks up and says, where the hoes at?
Oh, my gosh, dude.
And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, well, I was expecting some entertainment. And I said, you told me you didn't want, I know what I told you, but you should have known that we would have. And I said, great. So now I'm on the phone with the JV stripper house or whatever, trying to get, it's midnight for Christ's sake. We finally got him over there at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was a disaster.
I became the stripper guy at a bachelor party I wasn't even invited to. And I don't know why they thought I would have a connection, maybe just because of the reputation of the radio station. But yeah, a guy called me and said, hey, dude, the girls that showed up for this thing, they're horrible. Can you help us out? I'm like, well, why'd you call me?
You called the straightest laced sumbitch in town, yeah.
That'd be the last phone call I'd make if I was in need of strippers, Josh.
I know. Well, luckily, there was enough people around here I knew would be experts at this sort of thing. So I called one of the most perverted dudes that worked here, and I said, I don't suppose, he's like, I got you. Here's 3 different numbers.
What?
And he told me, like, this is what you want, this is who you ask for. And then they ended up showing up and apparently had a great time.
I didn't have much luck with my last resort stripper phone call. I got 2 of them to come over. One of them, lights out. The other one, could have swore to God it was my aunt. And so everyone, by that point, like I said, they didn't show up till 3 o'clock in the morning. Everyone is annihilated, obnoxiously drunk. And, of course, here comes, steroid tiger security guy and hot stuff and Aunt Jane. And then, of course, what happens? Every dude wants to dance with hot stuff, and Aunt Jane sits in the corner depressed the entire evening.
Oh, geez.
Poor Jane.
Looking at her shoes and wondering why none of us want a dance from her. And then you get a couple guys who feel bad for Aunt Jane. So then they get a dance from Aunt Jane. And then she goes right back to being sad again. And then the steroid tiger's like, some of you boys should be paying attention to Aunt Jane. And they're like, I don't want to get a dance from Aunt Jane. And it was ugly. The whole thing was ugly. And I wanted it to be over. And then everyone's looking at me saying, well, why did you get Aunt Jane? And I had to say, because Dinkus over there didn't tell me he wanted strippers until 3 hours ago.
I wish I could have been there. That sounds amazing to watch.
Josh, didn't you have to get a male stripper once, too?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
That's awesome. You're the stripper guy.
I've become the stripper guy. And so I saw some photos from this event. This wasn't even a bachelorette party. It was my friend's wife. It was a birthday party, and he wanted to get her a stripper. And the guy, by the way, my God, he was gorgeous. But she sent photos, and he had her like in the wheelbarrow position. And I mean, it got really sexy. It was just her and like 4 of her girlfriends at their house. And, you know, he's gone, and she's sending him photos and stuff. And I saw some pictures and thought, my word. But yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Does he get the hog out?
Well, she claimed no.
Is it like that dancing bear video?
Just the bear head.
It's very possible, but she said no, that never happened.
He got the hog out.
Definitely.
I forgot there will be some lingerie, a little special lingerie Friday night for me and the wife, and I think she's really going to like what I'm wearing this year.
Some red lacy numbers?
Yeah.
Speaking of pictures,
You
please
do
send.
not, Josh, you do not look good in red.
Well, it's not red.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I thought someone said red.
It's black. Well, yeah, somebody threw that out there.
Oh, black is very slimming. That's a
Just
good choice.
telling
think so?
Yes.
As your best friend, I thought it'd be the right time to tell you. You don't look good in red. Everything else, though.
Well, I've tried red in the past. You're right.
Yeah.
Red, it matches all the sores. The red, it really brings the sores out.
And with your pasty white skin, it looks like you're wearing a Detroit Red Wings jersey.
Yeah, I look just irritated more than anything.
We gotta
go in
get-
black, match the pubes. What? Who said that?
Got to get going again. We're going to have a good time this morning. Don't forget to go on our website, ladies, and look up that Valentine's Day Showdown. We're trying to give you a terrific prize. Give us the prize
Yeah,
one more
huge
time.
prize.
It is a tennis bracelet from Landmark Jewelers, and it's valued at over $5,000.
$5,000, she says.
That's awesome.
Very pretty.
Before you know it, we'll be back jaw-jacking about the stupid news. We'll be back in a minute.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
Wealth building expert Candy Valentino paves the path to success.
I'm sorry, you're a human with a heart and lungs. There's no price tag that you can put on a service that you offer. And everyone that I know, every entrepreneur, they all have one common goal. You want to strive to be like the Ritz-Carlton of your industry. Do the work, take the time to really understand and master these things. It's really essential to your path for success.
The Candy Valentino Show. Time to invest in your future. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Sorry. I'm way behind over here, Cubby.
That happens. No matter how much you prepare at times, right?
Well, it's because you made me take that big hit.
You were being a sissy about
I
it.
told you I didn't want it. I said I want to take a little bitty hit. And you said, hit that. You heard him, Ashley. Now I'm behind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Stupid news?
Yep.
Yes.
Jesus. All right. A little refresher here. A refresher. A callback. Ladies, we're looking for your Valentine's Day horror stories, funny stories, whatever you've got. Go to 93x.com. We're a couple days away from Valentine's Day. You got until tomorrow morning to dump these stories on us. The folks at Landmark Jewelers have a terrific prize for the best story. Ashley said earlier they're even trying to scrape up some second and third place prizes. We're just looking for that effing moment from Valentine's Day. Anything that might entertain our listening audience. And Landmark Jewelers is prepared to offer up a tennis bracelet valued somewhere around $5,000 to the best story. So again, 93x.com. Speaking of Valentine's Day stories, I got a good one, but it's a dude.
He can't win.
We can still hear about it, I guess.
Oh, you're going to hear about it. Dude says, years ago I got dumped 2 days before Valentine's Day. And I had already bought her diamond earrings. Oh. But check out what he did. He said, I ended up giving them to a stranger at the mall.
Yikes.
I approached the lady and I asked her, "Are your ears pierced?" She said, "Yes." So I handed her the box and I walked away. As I was walking away, I heard her say, "Are these real?" And I said, "Yes." And I kept walking.
That is so beautiful. That would be so cool.
That's what he said now, Cubby.
I would assume if I were her, I was going to be murdered at some point. Nice gesture on his part, though.
Is anything else pierced?
Is there a tracker in the earrings?
Yeah, right. You'd worry about something like that nowadays.
I would worry about what my man would say when I got home with him, too. He's never going to believe that some stranger just gave them to me at the mall.
What's your man got to do with me? I got a man.
So 2 days before...
That was an old hip-hop song back in the day, Josh. You remember that one?
I recognize it.
Yeah, I think his name was Mac something, like Big Mac or Slappy Mac. He sang a song about I got a man. Yes, Josh.
If my wife's listening, she could tell us. That's her jam. If yesterday was the most likely day to get dumped, so he's dumped 2 days before Valentine's Day, I guess yesterday this year would be the most likely.
Really?
Day. People just probably wanted to save a couple bucks on Valentine's Day.
3 days ahead of time.
Apparently so, yeah.
What's your man got to do with me? I got a man. I ain't even trying to hear that.
Have you guys heard over and over and over again from different people in your life, like, well, I want to break up with this person, but I can't. Their birthday's at the end of the week or
Right.
Valentine's Day.
Sure.
Yep.
I mean, infamously almost, our old coworker Ross he went through that. He hated the person he was with. For like 2 years, he said he was going to break up with this person, and there was always something.
Yeah.
She had a bad
Right.
week at work, or it's Christmas is coming up.
You just got to get it done.
And the only thing that was really getting in the way was that the guy had no balls.
Well, the best was, and we've told this before, when he said, "Hey, this is it. I'm done. I'm breaking up with her this weekend." And we said, "You know what, dude? You've said it so many times. Don't even bring it up." He's like, "No, I mean it." And then Monday we find out she moved in over the weekend.
That is ridiculous.
Right.
All right, was it Positive K or Bismarcky? Those are the
Positive K.
Positive K.
Positive K.
I remember dumping a guy maybe a month or so before Valentine's Day, and then he was very upset about this, and he was hitting me up and was like asking, Valentine's Day is coming up. Can we at least get together? I thought, no, what? Absolutely not. We're done. That's what done means, dude.
I can't get that friggin' song out of my head now.
Ice Auger Jesus said he stayed with a woman way longer than he should have because he wanted to go on a trip to Costa Rica. Apparently they were going to go, and he really wanted to go. By the way, I was going to text you guys last night. We heard a story about Costa Rica yesterday that I don't believe for a second. Are you guys in the same boat?
It was a very dramatic story. A little hard to believe.
I don't think, and I'm not suggesting the person that told us it was lying, but I think they were lied to.
Okay.
Essentially, it was about a fight and escaping Costa Rica on a plane and all this stuff. It's a lot to go into, but I thought, and knowing the person, I love that person, but that didn't happen.
We'll find out more, and then we can tell you the whole story.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'd like to know how true this is.
Let's find out more about this, and then we can share the story on the air. This is great. Back to the Positive K hit single from 30 years ago, I Got a Man. Peg Leg Sheezes even knows the words. She quoted the song here, where it's like that filthy LL Cool J song where they're talking about doing it well, where the guy does some rapping and then the girl does some rapping, almost like they're having a conversation.
I like that.
And so in the song, I Got a Man, the girl says to Positive K, because he's hitting on her, she says, I got a man. And Positive K says, how long have you had that problem?
Oh.
That's a good one.
All right, on to the stupid news. We're going to... Yes.
Sorry, just one more text on that. This is good. More anxiety than hair Jesus, which is true, by the way. He got dumped on his 30th birthday. The girl was supposed to come over that night to meet his family.
You got to get out of that then.
Man.
Mom, Dad, I'm in love, and you're going to meet her tonight. Oh,
ask him, well, if he's listening, he can answer the question. What did you tell your folks?
I'd love to know that as well.
That would be so awkward at dinner.
That's probably much better than her meeting the parents, and what if the parents love her and then she feels even worse? yeah, we're done. And then, oh, yeah, I think that would be worse.
Up at the crack of dawn, Jesus stayed with a woman for her Netflix account.
Oh.
I get
Keep
that.
using that after you break up, you know.
There are different motivations.
Aren't you using like your wife's credit card or your ex-wife and all that kind of stuff?
Let's not talk about my credit card fraud on the air, Josh.
I apologize. You're
Dana,
right.
Some light credit card fraud. Yes.
Dana, I'm so
Fraud.
petty. When I've gotten out of relationships, I change all of my passwords to all of my
really?
streaming services. Yup. You're not using that?
All different motivations for staying with people or leaving people. We're going to fire up the stupid news here this morning with something or another for the game hunters in our listening audience. Deer hunters, specifically. I personally never took an interest, but my brother and my old man were cold-blooded killers for many years. Like any other recreational sport, my damn. So many wonderful advancements have been made. Like, say, for example, deer stands or deer blinds.
Oh, dude, yeah.
The
There's
fancy,
some nice ones.
the schmancy deer stands these days with the walls and the roof and the windows and the floors and the doors and the this and that.
My buddy's-
Nicer than some apartments.
Yeah, my buddy's got one that it's like a lavish tree fort. It's got a bed in it, bathroom.
Dude, that's awesome.
It's so nice.
So it's going the way of like the ice fishing shacks.
Yep.
Where
Yep.
they're just luxurious.
Yep. Now, some of you like to walk when deer hunting, but many others sit in those. They sit their big fat asses in those beautiful deer stands, and that would be my preference if ever you were able to convince me to hunt deer, which is an extreme long shot at best. But not every swinging D can afford those. I'm taking a guess here, $2,500 deer blinds. Some folks have to improvise. Like this brilliant sumbitch down in Texas. Texas game wardens have been trying to find a deer hunter down that way who was reportedly hunting out of a damn portable toilet. An outhouse, a biffy, whatever you want to call it. The plastic crapper that we drop nightmares into at the campground. That kind of a thing.
Well, I
Dude,
think
that would be perfect.
Wapple calls it a porter potty.
Porter potty.
Yeah, porter potty.
Because you got to take it. Ports around.
I get it. That would
By
be
that logic,
that would be absolutely perfect, though. You already got a seat built in.
Right, yeah, if it's functioning, it'd be excellent.
So, dude, rumors were going around the state of Texas. Be on the lookout for this character who's hunting out of an outhouse. And more importantly, I guess as far as the law is concerned, he was also apparently hunting illegally on somebody else's property. Dude had converted a Port-A-Potty into a pretty slick-looking deer blind. I saw a picture of it. Step one is to cut a hole in the door for firing that weapon. Step two was to color it up and down with camo spray paint, and the dude did all of that.
This is up on 93x.com.
Appreciates. And like I said, the cops have been looking for old Outhouse Donnie for a stretch of time, and they found him. A camera was set up in an area where they believed he had been hunting before, and on day one of the deer season down in Texas, they caught his ass sitting on the throne waiting for that 10-point buck. Game wardens confronted Outhouse Donnie, and he admitted that he was kind of a jagoff, albeit a very clever jagoff, and he admitted to hunting on the land without permission. So he loaded up his turd house, and he got the hell out of there. Thing looks great. It really does.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. I wonder what it would cost to buy your own porter potty.
I don't know. I just don't.
You looking it up?
Yeah.
We should put one in the studio here. We got enough room in this thing.
Around just under about $1,000 for a normal
really?
one.
Oh, what about a
thought.
used one?
Might be cheaper. Go on Facebook
I
Marketplace.
was just going to
Dana.
say that.
Boy, when I was in my 30s, Josh, I could have used an outhouse right here in the studio.
Oh, boy. Yeah, you had trouble. Big time. And it just snuck up on you, too.
And I honestly would have used an empty 2-gallon bucket if you would have let me.
I would have been fine with it.
I don't know what your man's got to do with me. Okay, I got to shake that.
So people are back to that positive K.
Yeah, positive K.
People are saying he did the male and female voice in the song.
No way.
There's no way.
They pitched up his voice.
No.
So many people are texting that in. Maybe it's like an old online joke or something, but we're getting a lot of texts saying that.
I've heard that song upwards in the neighborhood of 8 or 9 times, and I never could have told you that. I'll go along with it. Fine, I'm going to go along with it. That positive K sped up his voice to play the female role in his hit single, I Got a Man. Boy, I get obsessive. Don't I, Josh? I just can't let it go.
Yeah, sometimes there are certain things that get you going. You can predict them.
You can?
Yeah, usually if there's like a story,
It's usually
or a word
musical.
in a story.
Isn't it usually musical?
Yeah, or like a story from your life or something. Usually you can. Oh, some people are saying on, like here, Bass Slayer Jesus said on Facebook Marketplace, you can get a Port-A-Potty for $550.
That's not too bad.
Can you just set one up wherever you want? I mean, like if you own the property or whatever.
I would assume so.
I think so. We've rented one before for like graduations and stuff, and you just put it anywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. That's a
Just
great idea.
Put it anywheres.
My wife would love to get one because of all the my son's friends that are over, and I don't think they even try and aim. I mean, there's pee everywhere, so maybe we should get one of those.
Well, doesn't it? I mean, it ups the resale value of the house if you add on an additional bathroom.
And then maybe you can get rid of her phobia of using porter potties.
No, she'll never use them. Never.
When my brother and my dad and I were living together, there was quite a bit of urine on the floor of the bathroom. We didn't want to wear socks.
Ew.
I'm just telling you, we were animals. We were all animals. The bathroom was absolutely horrible, unspeakable. That's the word that best described the bathroom when my brother and my dad and I shared one bathroom. Unspeakable.
You need
Take
like
your
a
socks
funnel.
off at the bathroom door.
I'm sorry, your name again is Ashley?
Yeah, you need a funnel or something to make the.
Well, we all
hole
drank
bigger.
too much. We drank way too much, and our balance was questionable, you know.
Is it that hard?
Yes, when you're drunk, yeah.
When you're sober, is it relatively easy?
Well, sometimes
Sober,
there's some
easy.
splashback, so you got to choose your aim. Pick your lines like you're racing a motorcycle.
Can you kind of tell before you start going if it's going to be like going in a weird direction?
Sometimes.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
I mean, sometimes, like, if you know a previous activity, that'll make a difference.
Yep.
I've always wanted to know.
Certainly the pressure that's been built up, that makes a difference.
Interesting.
Before we go, before we're done with the stupid news, can we listen to a little bit of I Got a Man? Now I have to hear.
Today'd be a very bad day for that. We can, but it'd be a bad day. Our podcast guy's gone. But if you want to, you tell me. What do you want to do?
Forget it.
Well, I'll play it now.
Forget it.
There's probably a couple of people.
No, I'm telling you, no. If it's going to stress anybody out, no.
We'll listen to it later.
We'll listen to it later, she said.
I'll just play it.
No, you're not going to play it.
Oh, well, I just did. Oh God. Could have used a heads up on that. Did you hit the button?
Yeah, I got it.
This is the second word.
I didn't hear a thing, to be honest with you.
I heard nothing either.
Yeah,
What are
me
you
neither.
talking
Turn
about?
it off.
It's off. It's off.
All right. This will be an interesting transition here. The historic beaches of Normandy, France, Cubby, where thousands of Second World War troops came ashore on D-Day, June 6, 1944. They fought like hell, and many of them died. But as you all know, busting through that bitch was a major step in finally getting a stranglehold on Hitler and those effing maniac Nazi bastards. Normandy Beach. There are still some historical artifacts, if that's the proper term, left in place there in the general area of Normandy Beach in tribute to what happened there 80 effing years ago now. I would step lightly if I ever visited such a place. I'd be on my best behavior, out of respect.
Certainly.
Not everyone thinks that way. A couple days ago, a drunk lady over there, she crashed her effing car into a real British tank that fought in the Battle of Normandy all those years ago and still sits there in tribute, commemorating British soldiers who died in France. She crashed her car into a real British tank that's been sitting there since the day. This was around 5:30 in the morning. The accident happened in a town called Lyon-Saumur, where many Second World War troops came ashore on D-Day. And I'm going to say, Cubby, that's likely made her the least popular sumbitch in town.
I would think so.
For knocking into that tank behind the wheel drunk.
I know this was alcohol related, but that's pretty disrespectful. Of all the things you crashed into, she would have been better off crashing into like a preschool or something like that.
Yes, she would have. Says here the lady in her 40s, she was, quote, shocked that the accident happened. Her car turned to garbage. The tank wasn't damaged at all.
That's hilarious.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, the tank, boy, they really keep this thing looking nice. You can tell they put a lot of care into it. But yes, there's no damage whatsoever on the tank.
She's a stupid idiot. What are you going to do next? Do some shots and go puke in Pearl Harbor? Grow up, will you? I've been doing myself no favors lately, Josh, but I can't stop. I've been watching Hours. This started when I got sick last week. You ever have this problem when you get sick? I mean, you're just sitting there doing nothing because you have no energy. And you try to turn on a movie or a television show, but that doesn't even hold your attention because you just don't feel well.
Yep.
So what I tried for the very first time, Josh, I went on YouTube and I somehow knocked into DWI arrest videos online. I've been watching hours of this stuff ever since, and this was a bad idea for me personally because I already hate us, people in general, and what we've become the last few years. Self-centered, violent, delusional, lunatic idiots is what we've become. And watching the DWI arrest videos has only made me hate us more. The entitlement that these people display is maddening. They mouth off. They all know their rights also, even though they absolutely do not know. They kick and scream like petulant children. It's horrible, and I've done this to myself.
That is so disgusting. Hey, look at me. I'm putting my life and other people's lives in danger, but I'm right.
Right.
I do enjoy just the emotions, and you can't. It's like watching a movie,
Yes.
You go through everything. There's so many different scenes. The anger, the denial. It's your fault. No, it's my fault. What have I done? I totally screwed up. No, it's your fault again. Begging. I like the begging, that kind of thing.
I love that when the tears kick in.
This is all new to me. I've never watched these types of videos before, but now that I have, like I said, it was a bad idea because I even have a more grim outlook on our future. But the two most popular phrases after watching hours of these DWI arrest videos, the two most popular phrases are, what did I do? And I didn't do anything. And the cop has to keep repeating himself, what did I do? You were driving drunk. I didn't do anything. You were driving anyway.
And it's always 2 drinks, right? It's always two drinks.
I'm telling you, I wish I never would have clicked play or whatever you do.
Stop watching them.
I am done. I'm done now.
Okay, good.
Last night, there was nothing on television. Absolutely nothing. No ball games I took an interest in. And I reached for my phone and I said, no, don't do it.
This is actually a good time to bring this up. Tomorrow, we're going to have some officers from the Bloomington Police Department in. And, they're Booker Hodges, their chief. He's kind of known nationally as being hilarious, right? He's really tough on crime. People love the guy. Rightfully so. He's awesome. But so they're doing this thing online where they're showing you a stop. And they go up, they talk to the person. They hear these excuses that you're describing, Nick. And then they ask people who are viewing these videos, should they get a ticket or shouldn't they, right? And then they kind of explain how that all works and how the officer makes their decision. And it's taking off online, so they're going to come in and talk about that. And they have a funny Valentine's Day video that they posted that also a lot of people are kind of sharing and talking about.
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, these are good guys. It'll be fun having them in tomorrow.
So we're coming off like the half-assed History Channel here today, but speaking again of World War F Me Running Part 2, here we go. In Northern England, the next story comes out of Northern England. Boy, we bailed their sorry asses out back then, didn't we? And we never got as much as a thank you. Never got as much as a thank you. It's amazing how still to this day, the remnants, again, is the only word I could come up with, of World War II still come into play now and again. And I guess it goes to show you how damn massive an undertaking it was a few days ago in ungrateful Northern England. More than 170 World War II bombs were found underneath a children's playground.
Oh, man.
Boy.
They sent some nervous characters down to fetch them on out of there. And luckily is how you say it, nobody blowed up.
It is kind of odd how many stories you do hear like this, right?
France, Germany, England.
Yeah. Oh, that whole area.
They keep.
Well, this is an odd metal potato that's growing on my land. Boom!
And it's 85 years old.
Yeah.
It truly is incredible. Construction workers found the first bomb when they started work on this kid's playground last month, putting in some new swing sets and whatnot. Boy, I bet that first dude got out of there quicker than you can say Winston Churchill.
Oh, that's so scary.
By the time they were done clearing all of them out, there was a bucket filled with 176 bombs. Now, bomb disposal experts have been called. They're no longer picking on the construction guys. Hey, go grab that bomb. I'm a construction guy. Why am I grabbing a bomb? They're finally calling in, what do they call it, bomb disposal experts for a more thorough search.
There's a whole entire job dedicated to that. That's great.
Brace yourselves if you live in that town. I wonder what the record is for trucker bombs found in one place.
Oh, boy.
You mean like a popular ditch or an overpass where the kings of the road toss their piss bottles?
You'll have to talk to the convicts about that.
I always thought when people called dog poop landmines, I always thought that was pretty funny. Watch out, got some landmines over there.
Oh, yeah. Talk to the convicts. What are you talking about?
The people that clean up on the side of the
Oh,
highway.
yeah.
sure.
They stab the trash.
Yeah.
They pick up the pee-bah. Now,
Alleged convicts, by the way.
Oh,
Wow.
whoops. My bad.
the word is the reason so many damn bombs were found stashed in this particular neighborhood is that back during World War II, the area may have been used as some kind of a training ground. Someone over there said after the war, it looked like they just buried all the bombs in a pit. And like Josh and I were talking, this is still fairly common in England, France, Germany. Watch your friggin' step over there.
And it's never one or two, right? It's always dozens.
Dude. Like they were all anticipating Hitler's going to walk by any minute now. Bring all the bombs over here.
We've got a hole full of them. God.
All right, we got to get going again. Just a regular everyday firecracker can F you up too. I'm sure many of us have stories, but I challenge you to tell me a firecracker story funnier than this one right here. By God, a gal in China blasted the living daylights out of her own mouth hole. She put a damn firecracker in her yap and bit into the effing thing because she thought it was candy. I don't care who you are. That's funny right there.
I thought, just the headline, I thought that was ridiculous. How do you not tell the difference? But I watched the video of them pulling it looked like candy. I mean, if somebody said it was candy, I would think, okay. I've never seen a firecracker look like that.
I didn't see it. What kind of candy does it appear to be? Like, could you compare it to?
It kind of looked like gum almost.
Okay. The gal goes by the name of Wu. She went ahead and posted about this disaster on Chinese social media. She said that her brother had brought some snacks back to the house and a pack of firecrackers. She said the firecrackers looked a hell of a lot like a certain type of candy that she liked when she was a little kid. So she fired one into her hole, and when she bit down, kablazizow. It exploded in my mouth, she said. Wu suffered what they call here a minor mouth injury. I'll give you a minor mouth injury. She kept all of her teeth. Her teeth hung in there for her.
That's surprising.
Yeah, you would have thought they just would have blown out like a window, like in a movie when the window gets blown. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you think your mouth hurts after eating like pizza or pizza rolls that are too hot. This has got to be bad.
She kept all of her teeth, but she did suffer a minor mouth injury. Chinese 8th graders and social media dorks who followed her little story said that they've damn near made the same mistake because that specific brand of firecracker does look a lot like candy. And again, I got to go back to telling the story about my dad's buddy at the fishing shack 40 years ago. Trying to get the grill going. And of course, you know, drunk hillbillies everywhere. Trying to get the grill going for dinner. And someone had bought these, and I'd never seen these at this point in my life, fuel sticks of some sort. They're white in color, 6 inches. And go ahead, send me your funny text messages. They do look, or at least in 1985, they looked a lot like string cheese. They did, but they were fuel sticks that you throw under your coals, or I suppose you can put it in your friggin' fireplace to start a fire. And they're sitting by the grill at one of my dad's buddies who had consumed way too much brown water that afternoon. Bit into the sumbitch because he thought it was string cheese. And it was maybe the hardest I'd ever seen my dad laugh in his entire life. And this dude just...
I bet that was pretty gross.
Oh, my God. We were
Yuck.
rolling in the dirt at the sight of this dumb bastard. But I'm exaggerating when I call him a dumb bastard because they really looked very similar to a food item. I'll never forget the last thing he said was, somebody brought string cheese, huh? Crack, he bites into it, and my God.
That's what he gets for eating string cheese. Weird.
Oh, wait a minute. We're not going to play this game, are we?
It's weird.
I bite into it like a damn, what do you call it, a candy bar?
I haven't had it since I was a little kid, so I don't remember how I ate it, but I always thought that was quite a cool invention, the string cheese.
I don't want to do this with you, Ashley. I don't. But why, as a grown person, would you peel the string cheese?
Why wouldn't you?
Because you can just eat it like a friggin' candy bar. You're not a little kid. Look at this string. What? Why wouldn't you just bite into it like a candy bar?
It just doesn't feel natural.
All right. Do I need to wrap it up with this one, Josh, or should we save it for tomorrow? It goes so nicely with the prior story.
Yeah, that's kind of the thought.
I know we're running late. That's why I asked.
Maybe let's talk about it because then people can check out the video. This is pretty amazing.
Okay. Another Chinese kid tossed a firecracker into a manhole and blew the whole town to kingdom come. The same thing just happened a couple weeks ago. We had the video a couple weeks ago where some effing kid tossed a firecracker under a manhole on the effing street, and it blasted the kid upside down and backwards. Hell, 30 feet in the air, this kid. And he landed on his neck, and it damn near killed him. This time around, a kid blew some cars upside down.
It is up on 93x.com.
He caused a methane explosion when he threw an effing firecracker into a septic tank. So there's video out there.
Why do they keep doing this over there?
It's so crazy.
My guess is it's a social media trend.
Maybe, but you know, the one kid you're talking about, he was real little, but man, and he can fly. It's with that explosion, that really helps out from what I've been told. But holy cow, I can't believe that kid survived.
I never realized firecrackers did so much damage.
Yeah,
well,
that would surprise me too.
If they get paired up with the perfect partner, yeah, I mean, septic gas and methane gas. So there's this new video. There's video. The kid throws a firecracker, runs like hell. The next thing you know, flames come up from underground, like Satan himself, and an explosion tosses a couple cars up onto their lids.
Yeah, this video was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Now, I read that, okay, no one got killed. but I heard the kid's dad is going to have to pay for the cars.
Oh, no.
Josh, would you ever acknowledge your son again?
No, he'd have a different last name and a different residence.
This kid was apprehended by police and he was beaten. According to the story, this is happening all over town in China. That's why I think this has got to be a social media thing. Let's see how wild I am with my firecrackers to all my followers on. It's got to be that.
It must be.
Here are some other similar stories that have popped up lately. A young girl set off a firecracker on top of a manhole cover. That also caused a methane explosion. She was injured. 2 kids did the same type of thing somewhere else in China. One of the kids upped and died. F me running. Video, check it out on our website.
Take the firecrackers away.
Christ, give these kids beer and cigarettes,
Isn't that where they're made?
Yeah.
They're gonna
Oh,
be
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're going to be there.
I'd hand my kid a pack of cigarettes before I'd hand him a firecracker.
Oh, he just dropped that down a sewer.
Oh, I suppose that's the same thing as, we got to go. We'll be right back.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Austin, just as like a basketball aficionado, was there a part of
what?
Helping your vocab tonight? Aficionado.
What's that?
A fan.
Big fan.
Someone who appreciates the game of basketball.
I didn't
right?
know that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is something seeing Luka's game up close and personal that you appreciate even more.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I don't know what word you just said.
Austin Reeves of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's 22 years old. He'd never heard the word aficionado used in a sentence.
Kind of surprising.
God.
The reporter says, as a basketball aficionado, he says, a what? Derp.
Maybe he played a little bit too much basketball, didn't study enough.
He hadn't heard that one yet, Josh.
Well, it's fun to learn new words. Now he knows it.
It absolutely is. Timberwolves Bucks tonight at Target Center. Game starts at 7 o'clock. It'll be televised on that Fan Duel television station. A few years ago, I was at a Wolves-Bucks game, and I was taking a squeege, and a Bucks fan ducked in, to the right of me, and he began his own personal squeege. And when he wrapped it up, he turned to me and he said, "Hey, bro." And I looked at him and he said, "Fear the deer."
I love it.
I said, "You got it, son." What did I miss? I don't think there really was not much going on last night at all. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will be here. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting. I'll have to get back to it. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder at 7:30. Don't go anywhere. Josh's news is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
Former U.S. Navy SEAL Sean Ryan captures real stories about sacrifice and strength, uncovering truth with the heroes who live to tell it.
There are 2 kinds of people. They're winners and they're losers. Winners take whatever they feel.
He's tough as nails. The dude got hit with a mortar. I'm still shooting. They're still shooting. You gotta finish it. You can't quit.
And they transmute it into things that are good for the world.
I had tunnel vision. I just saw a man that needed my help and I went to get him.
Period.
The Sean Ryan Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Crumbly is a partner and defense lawyer at Crumbly Blackwell Price Attorneys and handles criminal cases. DUI is one of their specialties.
A well-known Alabama DUI attorney found himself in a heap of trouble and a whole lot of irony late Sunday night, arrested for the very crime he defends in court. Huntsville police pulled over 63-year-old Russell Crumbly after spotting a vehicle that looked a little worse for the wear. What started as a routine stop changed quickly when officers suspected he'd been drinking. After a brief investigation, they determined there was enough evidence to place the DUI lawyer under arrest for DUI.
He knew this was only a matter of time, right?
I wonder if, you mentioned you've been watching these DUI arrest videos. I wonder how entitled he came across. I don't know the guy. Maybe not. Maybe he just kept his mouth shut or whatever, but...
But, I mean, he's a drinking man. He's a DWI attorney. There's always extra enforcement on the road for DWIs. When he laid his head down at night, when he first became a DWI lawyer, he knew this day would come.
It's unclear if he'll represent himself in the case. Most people handle a missed car payment with a late fee or maybe a stern phone call from the bank. But a car dealer in Florida had a different idea, one that just earned him 8 years behind bars. The now former Miami car dealer was sentenced to federal prison after he straight up carjacked a customer over a single missed payment.
Bro.
He didn't just steal it in the middle of the night, he carjacked him. The 24-year-old victim had just bought a Honda Accord, but when the victim's first autopay transaction bounced, the dealer didn't send a polite reminder. He didn't even threaten collections. Instead, he went Grand Theft Auto. 5 days after getting the bill for the loan, he stalked the victim at his home, followed him to work at Miami International Airport in a BMW, and waited. But what he didn't know is that prosecutors say the victim's account was actually current that day, and it was just a mistake that the payment didn't go through. The dealership had already been paid, and they were told they couldn't repossess the car, but he didn't care. At a red light near the airport, the car dealer jumped out, ripped off the Honda's temporary tag, and started screaming at the victim to get out of the vehicle. When the light turned green, the victim did the smart thing and hit the gas. But the dealer wasn't done. He hunted him down, again, at a nearby rail station, still screaming for the keys. This time, he lifted his shirt and flashed his gut and a gun. That did the trick. The terrified victim handed over the car.
That is one tough car dealership, man.
Within hours, officers recovered the carjacked vehicle and arrested the wannabe repo man. Originally, he faced state charges, but because the stolen Honda had crossed state and international lines, the feds took over. As of Monday, he's settling into his new home, the Federal Detention Center in downtown Miami.
He was only 5 days late, too. It doesn't even get reported to your credit bureau. Come on.
That dude is tough.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Maybe he was having a bad week and just went off or what, but he carjacked the guy.
That's crazy.
F me running.
A Texas woman pulled off a brilliant move to outmaneuver her stalker, leading him straight into the hands of police. Now her 29-year-old ex is facing third-degree felony stalking charges. 1 week ago today, she realized a pickup was tailing her. Her heart pounded as she recognized the driver, her psycho ex. Instead of panicking or rushing home, she made a split-second strategic decision and drove straight to the police station. Outside of the station, officers immediately noticed something was off. The man lingered, avoiding eye contact, yet staring intensely into her car. The second she stepped out, she was visibly shaken and sprinted toward the officers for safety. Trying to play it cool, the man fed the police a weak excuse. He said, I'm just headed to Chick-fil-A and happened to pass by and see her. But the woman's story painted a much darker picture. She told officers he tried to block her vehicle, forcing her to flee. Under questioning, he admitted to following her for several minutes and repeatedly showing up at her workplace in the past few days. She revealed he'd been bombarding her with messages and starting fights since their breakup 3 weeks ago, and it kept escalating. Trusting her instincts, she called 911 and requested a police order on the spot. Authorities are investigating that case.
Ooh, good thinking.
Yeah, real good thinking.
Friggin' stalkers, man.
Cops in Florida were trying to take a bite out of crime, but one guy decided to bite back. Last Monday morning, deputies rolled up to a gas station and found two men passed out in the front seats of a parked Honda Accord.
Both of them, huh?
Yeah, both of them. There was a 4-year-old in the back.
Oh. Yeah.
Concerned it was his dealer. Don't feel bad for him. That was the dealer. Oh. Concerned deputies knocked to check on the men, and that's when things went off the rails. The 30-year-old driver jolted awake and tried to start the car, setting off a wild struggle inside the vehicle. According to the deputies, he hit, shoved, and even bit one of them before Canine Zorak was sent in to help.
That's a cool name.
That's badass.
Then it got weirder, because instead of backing down, the guy grabbed Canine Zorak and bit his furry little ear.
Oh, you didn't do that to Zorak.
Didn't sit well with his human partner, who immediately put the driver into timeout, the sheriff's office joked. Meanwhile, as deputies wrangled the driver, his 27-year-old buddy decided to add to that madness, grabbing the kid and running straight into a busy intersection.
Oh, my God.
Thankfully, deputies tackled him before he could put the kid in further danger. The child was unharmed. Zorak and the injured deputy both doing just fine as well.
He's lucky that dog didn't rip out his jugular.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
I think Zorak deserves a medal of some kind.
Is that a movie reference or something, Zorak? Because I'm sorry I'm about to blow up, but I think that name blows.
Zorak? I didn't really get it either.
It's terrible. Yeah. Why you like it so much?
I don't know.
I think it's cool.
I think it's sweet.
Totally
It looks like it might be something from Pokemon.
What's a Pokemon reference?
It looks like it might be.
Well, if you're like a badass police dog, you don't want a Pokemon
No,
reference,
that name
do you?
sucks. Crank, and that name for a dog sucks.
If you thought your trip to the laundromat couldn't get any wilder than finding a mismatched sock, then you haven't been to Rochester, where a woman decided to redefine air drying. According to police, the 44-year-old woman was already making quite the scene when officers arrived, appearing intoxicated and putting on a performance no one asked for. Witnesses say she took things up a notch by licking her own breasts, a move that left bystanders both horrified and perhaps mildly impressed by her flexibility.
Jealous. I wish I could do that.
The show wasn't over.
She picked one up and
she started licking
and
it.
licked at it. I like that move.
As an officer was busy writing her a citation, she made a dramatic exit, bolting out the door, hiking up her skirt, and urinating on the sidewalk for the encore, exposing herself again in the process. Sadly, the impromptu act had an unfortunate audience, some kids, leading to even more serious charges for the intoxicated exhibitionist. And probably, there's not enough eye bleach in Rochester for those unlucky witnesses.
What?
Police said this wasn't her first laundromat misadventure. Court records reveal she'd already been banned from that business several months ago. Ever seen something like this?
That's awesome.
All right, we've gotten like 10 texts about how Zorak is from an Adult Swim show called Space Ghost. Do you guys know what that is?
I remember the show. I don't remember the reference.
That's better than Pokemon for,
that's cooler.
for a tough dog.
The name still blows, but I loved Space Ghost. I don't remember the character Zorak, but Space Ghost was one funny sumbitch.
With Valentine's Day just days away, is there anything more romantic than having sex with your partner in broad daylight in front of a Wendy's as motorists pass by on a busy highway?
Sounds awesome.
According to police, 53-year-old Demetria Wilson and 29-year-old Timerio Morel were caught in the act Saturday afternoon in Clearwater, Florida.
That's the first time I've ever heard Timerio.
New to me as well. Police spotted Wilson and Merrill laying on the ground at a bus stop in front of the Wendy's. Wilson, unencumbered by pants, was on her right side with her buttocks facing her partner. Morel's pants were pulled down, and he was, quote, in a turgid state as he, quote, repetitively engaged with Wilson.
Why are they going so far into detail with the description here? They're trying to make us nauseous?
That's great, though.
Turgid.
Yes, I repetitively engaged with her. The couple was busted and charged with performing an unnatural and lascivious act at the Wendy's because witnesses claimed that he baconate her. Police say both burger bangers have lengthy rap sheets.
You son of a bitch.
I like that line, Josh.
I asked my wife if that was too gross. I took one word out, and she said that made it better. What a transition this will be in a day of weird transitions. But Ashley, I know I mentioned I was going to throw it to you later, but do you want to bring up your Valentine's Day promotion? Because this is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We have something super fun going on for the sisterhood. We want to hear your craziest, wildest, funniest Valentine's Day stories. You can submit your story on 93x.com until tomorrow at 10 a.m. We will be picking a winner on Valentine's Day, and the winner will receive a tennis bracelet from Landmark Jewelers. And the tennis bracelet is valued at over $5,000.
That's
so
awesome.
It's a really good deal. So make sure you send your story in, and there's a chance we'll even read it on air. So
second, third place prizes they're looking at too. So.
Yeah, there might be some good stuff.
That's
maybe
cool.
some what's our women's hockey team name again? I suck for that.
The Frost.
The Frost. There could be some sweet tickets to the Frost, I've heard. Don't take my word on it, but there's a pretty good chance.
And make sure when Randy joins us, you tell him about those third place prizes.
He loves to bring up a third place prize.
He really does.
A 50-year-old man from Dallas, Texas is facing serious accusations after filming multiple people without their knowledge in the locker rooms of at least 2 Minnesota gyms. Michael Howard's arrest came after a disturbing incident at a Lifetime Fitness in Eden Prairie last June. Police were called to the gym following an altercation where one person accused Howard of using a hidden camera attached to his phone to secretly take photos. When officers examined the device, they reportedly found 23 video files and multiple photographs. All appeared to be taken inside a men's locker room. The footage captured gym goers in various states of undress, with some images.
What was
that? Ashley, your neck
That
just...
was me.
Wow.
What in the living hell?
It's because
You sounded like Zorgard or whatever it was.
Zorak. I was trying to get some coughing out before that, and it didn't settle down before I
That
turned the mic
was-
back on.
The most audible guttural in the history of morning radio.
I'm struggling over here. You guys know that.
Do we need to call a doctor?
It's been rough. Probably.
Geez, I'm sorry. I didn't realize how late it was. I'll rush through these.
Nobody cares how late it is. We enjoy this part of the show, Josh.
Well, the footage allegedly captured gym goers in various states of undress, with some images showing people's genitalia and buttocks.
I've never wanted to watch anybody wipe.
No, me neither.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah, I don't understand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to drink some coffee, and the alien that lives in my trachea decided to sing a song.
Stop. If you make me laugh too hard, I'm going to cough again.
That was crazy. An investigator discovered that the videos had been recorded at another Lifetime Fitness in Chanhassen just a day earlier. So he had a couple days of being a perv. So far, police have identified 6 adult victims and 5 minors. A Japanese woman learned a hard lesson about squeezing random buns in public. The 40-year-old squashed a sweet bun at a convenience store Monday, saying she was checking its firmness. But police in Fukuoka didn't Fukuoka around. They arrested her for it.
Squeezing a bun.
Yeah, this is nuts. The bun's wrapping wasn't torn, but since the squashed bread didn't return to its original shape, the store claimed the $1.19 sweet bun couldn't be sold. Police judged the woman's actions as destruction of property, and they arrested her.
Wow.
Store employees had dealt with squished products before, so the owner was already on alert. When the woman grabbed a pack of 4 buns and pressed one with her thumb, the owner checked the damage and then stopped her on her way out, called police, and they arrested her.
Well, remind me not to fart in the aisles at that grocery store.
She just pressed it a little bit.
I've done that before. I didn't know I could get arrested for it.
Well, you can there. Maybe not here. Streaming today on Disney Plus, a special episode of The Simpsons called The Past and the Furious.
Oh, heck yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Josh Brolin, 57 today. Arsenio Hall, 69. Happy birthday to Oakley, turning the big 03 today. From Hung Like a Field Mouse, Jesus, and your awesome mom, Emily. Happy 27th to both, actually, Jesus. From podcast Pentagram Tattoo, Jesus. Happy birthday to Hold My Beer, Jesus. From I Hate Ketchup, Jesus. And happy 18th to Erica, a.k.a. Bear Bear. From Dad, 3 daughters, 1 son, Jesus. And that's 93X News.
Andy Shaver.
Spit that ass, spit that ass, spit that ass.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
36 years of age, going to his 15th All-Star game, and Durant can join the group in the 30,000 club here. Sitting on 25 tonight through the first 3 quarters, given 26 and 30K for Durant. Going to have a moment between the quarters. Special moment indeed. That is such a huge number.
There you go. Hello, Ass Man. Hello, Lonely Boy.
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Ready as could be.
We will find out. Kevin Durant last night became the 8th player in NBA history to score 30,000 points. He was playing against the Memphis Grizzlies. There you go. Kevin Durant, the 8th player in NBA history to reach 30,000. Who are the other 7? Go!
Karl Malone.
That is 1.
Not the first answer I was expecting.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. LeBron James.
Michael Jordan.
You're missing 2.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, you're missing 2. Yes, the German Moses. Now you're down to 2 remaining.
Kobe.
Just 1.
Bob Pettit.
Yeah.
How about Wilt Chamberlain?
You got them all.
Yeah.
God, you guys were ready after all. Impressive stuff. How you guys feeling this morning?
Good.
Good.
Now, you guys know that Durantula and Anthony Edwards are in love, right?
Well, I think it's more Edwards looks at him as his idol, yes.
Well, but I've
Edwards has a bromance with him. Yeah.
He does, but I've heard Kevin Durant also say wonderful, wonderful things about.
Yes.
I'm going to say that they're equally and officially in love. Kevin Durant and Anthony Edwards. So, seeing how the Suns and Wolves apparently talked about a trade involving Kevin Durant before this year's recent trade deadline, lots of folks believe there is potential for a Wolves-Suns trade this offseason where the Durantula becomes a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Bring and what do you give up in return to get Kevin Durant? Come on.
When you don't have a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
You see that what you just mentioned also is brought up in the article that I read. Yeah. But it goes back to the love the two have for each other. And Josh could tell you this, just as well as anyone else. Love finds a way.
Oh, okay.
Josh has been known to say that.
Just like
even if the salaries don't match up.
Right.
Just like what was it that found a way in that movie, Josh?
Life. Life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
Life and love.
Now, also according to a new report, the Dallas Mavericks tried to trade baby nuts Luka Doncic. The Dallas Mavericks tried to trade baby nuts to the Timberwolves before
what?
For Anthony Edwards. I read this article too.
For Anthony Edwards?
That is correct, Randy Shaver.
I would never do that.
No, it's good to shoot your shot, though.
Not that it matters anymore, but word is the Mavericks reached out to the Timberwolves about baby nuts, and they said, send us Edwards, we'll send you baby nuts.
I bet they just laugh.
Well, I mean,
Wolves said no.
I mean, that's probably, if I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, I would be much more happy with that deal than getting a broken down Anthony Davis.
Oh, yeah.
That would
They also called the Bucks about Giannis. Too.
Yeah,
I read the same thing.
Tell you what, man, those are some exciting telephone calls right there. Calling the Wolves and saying, send us Anthony Edwards. Calling the Bucks and saying, send us the Greek Freak. Fun telephone calls.
I'll tell you what, the Lakers made the right decision. I mean, they really did. They made the right choice.
And wow, I mean, it would have eased the pain in Dallas if A1 from day one.
Oh, for sure.
Man.
It just shows that they were kind of, desperate maybe is a strong word, but they were kind of looking to get rid of him. I mean, if they were calling all these teams and offering up, trying to get people, it wasn't just they just didn't call the Lakers. I mean, I think there was a lot of speculation that they only called the Lakers and they should have called other teams to see what they could have gotten. Well, it sounds like they did.
We would have completely wet ourselves.
Oh.
Had Edwards been traded to the Mavericks.
Yeah, that would have. Maybe Edwards, after his rookie year, something like that, you wouldn't have felt the pain as much. But now that we know what he is and what he's capable of, there's just no way.
I wonder
there's no way.
Fan reaction. I wonder what it would have been like compared to how Mavericks fans had the phony funerals and stuff like that. I bet it would be that times 2 or 3 here.
Definitely.
For sure.
It would have been similar.
I'm not even a huge basketball fan, and that would have broke my heart. I love that guy.
Is there an NBA player you would trade Anthony Edwards for? Is there one?
Good question. I think the answer is no.
Bronny, maybe?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he's top on the list.
LeBronny?
No, Bronny's untouchable, though.
They might have to throw in a second-round pick, too.
The only guy I would say is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's the only guy that I can think of who can match Edwards as far as offense, what he brings to the court, leadership, decent defender. He's probably the only one.
He's pretty terrific.
But I still don't think I'd do it.
No, I wouldn't
Honestly.
either. But you know what, Randy Shaver? I think you came up with the perfect answer to that question. That's a very tough question. I would be like everyone else here in town. I would be so upset to see Anthony Edwards be traded. I mean, my God, just saying it out loud makes me a little bit sick to my stomach. But Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is maybe the only guy. That's a great answer.
Well, maybe Wembanyama.
No,
he's 20,
not Wembanyama.
because he's 21 and he's got the freakish skills.
He ain't got that many skills.
You could build the team around.
Wembanyama?
Friggin' Wembanyama. Flopper. That's what he is. He's a flopper. Hey, Randy Shaver, still in Florida, correct?
Yes.
A listener has texted in. I thought I remember you saying something or another along these lines. Are you going to the Daytona 500?
I am.
Is that this weekend?
Nice.
It's
Sunday.
Weekend, yeah.
It's
That'll be
this
awesome.
weekend. Does that mean the NBA All-Star deal is still a couple weeks away? When are they
No,
doing?
NBA All-Star Game is this weekend.
They're
too.
both this weekend.
Yes, they are.
You're going to the Daytona 500.
Yep.
That'd be so
awesome. We have tickets in the 10th row on turn 4.
Dang, dude.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
All right.
Heads up for flying tires.
Yeah, it's going to be. We're real excited, and not to change the subject, my granddaughter gets out of the hospital today.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so she will be flying back home hopefully on Thursday to kind of get resettled into her situation. So my wife and I could kindly actually breathe here for the first time. So we're real super excited to go. I think I told you guys we did a tour of the track when we first arrived here in Florida 3 weeks ago. And we talked about that. I think I talked about that on the radio. I was astounded at the level of the curves and the grade. The 31 degree grade on curve turn 3 that I just was like, holy mackerel, how do they do that? Because the TV does it no justice. Zero justice.
I think you have to be going like 55 miles an hour on the turns, otherwise your car would slide down.
Exactly. Wapple, the finish line is 18 degrees. That's the grade at the finish line. So, I mean, I had no idea. I guess I just never really thought about how that would look like or feel like. But they let us out of the tram that they were driving around the track so we could actually walk up the grade.
Yeah.
It's insane.
About sprained your ankle, I bet.
That's so cool.
It's one thing to go that fast, but to be able to manage your car on a grade like that is just a whole other thing.
Josh could do it.
And Brad, the thing is, it's not very wide. It's like 4 cars wide.
Right.
I mean, it's insane.
Will this be your very first NASCAR event of any kind?
Very first.
Okay.
Never done this before, ever. Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. Now, you've been through a lot. I'm giving you permission to just get friggin' hammered at that. I mean, come on, everyone's going to be drunk. You should get D-runk at that sumbitch.
We are going to go over early because the race is at 2:30. Now, there is rain in the forecast again, which means that I think the last 2 Daytonas have been postponed to the following Monday. I'm hoping that doesn't happen because the forecast on Monday is like 65 degrees, which is way colder than what they're used to.
That's beautiful.
Having.
Well, now, when you visited the track, did they offer to give you a ride if you had, $1,000? Did they have that?
Yeah, but not now because it was too close to race day.
Okay.
So
because a couple of my buddies have done that.
Well, that'd be great.
Right.
Even if it's that expensive, just save up for a while and do it. $1,000?
I really was taking a stab. I have no idea.
I don't know what the price was, but you can do that, but not right now because they were gearing themselves up for the race itself.
A couple of my friends have, I think it was the Richard Petty experience is what they call it.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Where they ride along with a professional driver, and then they also drove themselves. And one of them, I can tell you, was legally drunk.
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah. But they said it was, just a wonderful, wildly exciting experience.
My dad used to go to Michigan all the time for the NASCAR races, and he said that you'll be blown away with how fast the cars are actually going, because on TV it doesn't do it any justice.
Not only that, Wapple, but the noise. Everybody that we were at the track visiting and taking a tour and talking to people, they all gave us ideas about how to protect our hearing, and because I guess the noise is so insane.
I'm not trying to.
You can tell that on TV.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take.
Crank it up, Cam.
How's it go?
I'm not trying to take anything away from the NASCAR experience, but if you want speed and noise, it's the NHRA.
Yeah, probably.
You could.
Yeah,
sure.
I've been to one of those before.
When you sit in the bleachers at Brainerd the very first time, when those top fuel sumbitches go by, you're convinced that your guts are going to fall right out of your body.
My parents used to take me to the races that they used to do at the state fair every year.
Oh, yeah.
And they tell me, like, until they finally figured out, like, to get those headphones for me, that I would just scream the whole time.
Yeah.
But they didn't care because they could barely hear me over the sound.
You got to protect your hearing at the NHRA. I mean, there are people who sit in the stands without any ear protection, and they're trying to be tough guys, and I don't get it because it's a painful thing.
I remember going to those, like, my uncle used to race, and seeing, like, basically the ground, it appears as if it's vibrating.
It's such an incredible experience. I know, like you guys know, I went there, 25 years in a row or something like that. That is very cool, Randy Shaver. We're excited for you. So Monday morning, you can give us, Tuesday morning, you can give us, tell us all about it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Should be fun.
All right, you want a difficult question here now. What were we talking about? Oh, who would be a player if Anthony Edwards was traded to another team? Who would be a player that you would feel good taking his place? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Wembayamba, I guess. For Christ's sake, are the only answers there. This is too difficult to answer. Well, for most of us. Maybe not for some of us. A listener texted, who would bring more Minnesota fans to tears, seeing Justin Jefferson traded or Anthony Edwards?
I think I would say Anthony Edwards.
His personality is so.
I think that would be more devastating to the team or the franchise, but the Vikings are so popular.
Right. I was just going to say that, Brad.
That's what I was thinking.
So just strictly on popularity, I guess we have to say.
Strictly on popularity, you'd have to say Jefferson.
Yeah.
But how it would affect the team, I think it would be Edwards.
Yeah.
I mean, you're exactly right, because you lose an Edwards, those guys don't come along.
No,
they just don't. You can piecemeal losing a Jefferson. You can find not necessarily a superstar receiver.
Bring back Thielen or something.
You can bring back a few guys.
I mean, I'm going to say something that's going to tick people off. If you traded Justin Jefferson for two stud offensive linemen, I would do it.
No, I ain't mad at you. But you're right, Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver.
Yeah.
You could fix Jefferson being missing. You can't fix Edwards being missing.
No. Can't replace it.
I would say Edwards over Jefferson, just because I love the Timberwolves far more than I care for the Vikings anymore. And plus, on top of that, football's not a real sport. But his personality is what I would miss. Like when we were talking about Edwards possibly being traded for Doncic. Other than, I think, Edwards being clearly the long-term, star in the NBA, I think that Baby Nuts days are already numbered. He's hurt all the time. Other than missing out on what Edwards brings to the court, I would miss his personality. The joking around and the fun and the dancing and the swearing on television, we replace that with stupid Doncic. The guy's boring.
Oh,
He's just boring. So, but that's all fun to talk about. Hey, the Detroit Pistons and Chicago Bulls played a basketball game against each other last night.
How about the Bulls last night?
As far as games go, that was one of them.
Oh, my God.
The Pistons led at halftime 71-29.
Wow.
And no surprise, Detroit went on to win the ball game. That 42-point difference is now the 7th biggest halftime deficit in NBA history.
Hey, Chicago won the second half.
Did they?
Yeah, they got that.
Yeah. That's a bad basketball team. How in the world do they get so bad so fast?
Well, they traded Levine. That didn't help them.
Well, man.
Yeah, they're not good.
I will say this, too, though. Detroit, watch out. Because if they can piece together a couple of more players on that roster, they're not bad. They're 2 games over 500. When was the last time the Pistons?
I talked about them a little bit last week. I mean, they're coached by J.B. Bickerstaff. I mean, J.B. has done well everywhere he's gone. I mean, he was in Houston. He took them to the playoffs. He was in Cleveland. He took them to the playoffs. And now he's going to take Detroit to the playoffs.
That Cade Cunningham is a really good player. I mean, he just doesn't have enough around him right now. But they're a few players away from being pretty good.
There's 2
consistently good.
2 athletes that are just born and bred outstanding leaders. One is J.B. Bickerstaff. The other is J.B. Layfield, John Bradshaw Layfield.
Here's a call.
For you wrestling fans. So, back to the Dallas Mavericks again. Jesus Christ, we can't go 5 minutes without talking about that ball club. The NBA record for the biggest halftime point differential is held by the Dallas Mavericks, who led the Los Angeles Clippers by 50 points at halftime 5 years ago.
Wow.
They led by, it was 77-27.
Wow. Jeez.
Keep your ticket stub. That's a keepsake.
Running.
I just looked up the standings, Randy. You would be surprised to know the Bulls are in the play-in game right now.
Let's get it done.
The season ended today.
They are pretty bad.
Yeah, well, that just shows you how bad the bottom half of the playoff pool in the East is.
The East in general right now is struggling.
The biggest, I believe the record for biggest blowout final score in NBA history was just also a few years ago, of course. This would never happen in the friggin' 80s. Guys would be getting their legs broken and their jaws broken if you ever were.
Plus, there was no three-point shots.
Right. The record for biggest blowout as far as a final score in the year 20, then 21, the Memphis Grizzlies won a ball game over the Oklahoma City Thunder, I remember this, by 73 points.
Oh, my gosh.
Just forget it. Forget it at that point. Close the door.
5 passes before you take a shot.
Did they cover the spread?
Yeah. A season's worth of spreads.
I heard this wasn't legit at all, but it's interesting anyway. Video cut loose the other day of an argument on the streets of New Orleans on the night of the worst Super Bowl ever.
I saw this.
An argument.
I did too. Yeah.
An argument that looked like it might turn physical. And get a load of the 2 absolute asshats who looked like they were going to put on an over-the-hill fist fight right there on the streets of New Orleans. Who would you root for? Loser number 1, former big league pitcher John Rocker. Loser number 2, former big league pitcher, current alcoholic, Pat Mahomes Sr. The 2 of them appeared to be in a shouting match on the streets of New Orleans and needed to be held back from each other. But what I read was it's all a setup, and I can't wait to tell you about the setup. But before I let you in on that, that is a pretty impressive combination of stupid former ball players.
It really is.
Yeah.
There's a pretty big size difference there, too.
Yeah, John Rocker looks like he could
I don't think
destroy
that
him.
fight would have lasted very long.
No.
The only thing that I'm trying to come up with an equal combination of former ball players squaring off in the streets where they're also complete losers. I don't know, Lenny Dykstra versus
Jose Canseco.
Jose Canseco's a good one. So here's the terrible truth, apparently. Barstool Sports recently reported that John Rocker. Now, I should probably help folks out who don't know this man. He was a pretty solid closer for the Atlanta Braves back in their heyday, mid to late 90s.
It didn't last very long.
He didn't know he wasn't a long-time dominant pitcher, but he had his moment.
Had a moment or two. Yeah.
And then he became kind of a notorious mumbling, screaming maniac type douchebag, racist things come out of his mouth and whatnot. Okay? That's John Rocker. You know about Pat Mahomes Sr. The terrible truth is that apparently these two idiots are expected to fight as part of something called a rough and rowdy boxing event.
Oh my God. Why?
Can we stop with this boxers who aren't actually boxers gimmick? When is this finally going to come to an end? So this was apparently all a little fake video to fool people into this, and then you'll buy the pay-per-view stupid fight between two stupid people.
No.
Based on the physiques, like I said, that fight shouldn't last more than 4 seconds.
And don't give Patrick Mahomes Sr., I don't know much about John Rocker except for what you just told me, but don't give him any more attention. Like, this guy sucks in every way possible.
And that's why they're probably hiring him for the rough and ready boxing event, because
disgusting.
he is that notorious douche. Despite playing baseball, professionally, both of them, they were never teammates. Pat Sr. and John Rocker. No relation to the Red Rocker, Sammy Hagar.
I wonder what Patrick Mahomes thinks about that. His dad being involved in all this kind of stuff.
I would be so ashamed.
Josh, I used to care. Now I don't care what Patrick Mahomes thinks about that. You know what I mean?
The people around him make him unlikable.
Yes,
Perhaps that's unfair.
Right. How many times do you think Patrick Mahomes has said, "Dad, go home, you're drunk"? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Maybe he's just given up at this point.
No, don't drive. Oh, Christ, he's driving again. It's like the old joke where the guy walks into the bar and he says, "Old guy and a young bar." How do I say that? Old guy and a young guy at the bar. Do I have this joke correct? Oh, yeah. Old guy and a young guy at the bar. Old guy turns to the young guy and says, "I effed your mother last night." And the young guy ignores him. The old guy says it again. "Hey, you, your mother last night, I banged her brains out." And the young guy says, "Dad, you're drunk. Go home."
It kind of reminds me of my youngest son. Not too long ago, he made a "your mom" joke to me. And when he realized that was his grandmother, he almost threw up.
That's great, Josh.
Never considered the connection there.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious.
I wish I had that on video.
Sometimes you don't think about the details.
No.
Twins pitchers and catchers report for their first formal workouts tomorrow.
Woohoo, baseball's back, baby.
Yeah.
Report for their first formal workouts tomorrow.
Yeah, they're already there. I saw Dustin Morris opened up the press box at Lee County.
Oh, yeah, I saw that video.
Yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, so baseball's back. Can't wait. Already starting to read.
To the ball game. Everybody.
I don't know the words.
The Twins signed Ty
Our
France.
mother was the referee.
What? I think that's different.
Your mother was the second base umpire.
Yes, you're right, Randy Shaver. Who did the Twins sign?
Ty France. We're going to the World Series, everybody.
Oh,
He's the key.
The missing piece is now in place.
Yeah. We needed that first baseman to replace the 45-year-old Carlos Santana.
I love Carlos Santana, and you're right. They needed a first baseman. Did I read this right? Carlos Santana is going to play another year of baseball next year.
He's with Cleveland.
Yeah, he went back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
F me. That man is
Got
timeless.
a $12 million deal to go play with
Wow.
Timeless.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we weren't going to sign him for 12, so.
No.
The Twins signed up Ty France for $1 million. You got to make the team first. He's got to pass the physical, all that stuff. Yeah. You know, he had a great year 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. He had an all-star year. Yeah.
I ain't mad at the guy. We'll see what he's got.
I mean, this Twins team is just, who knows?
Who was the big galoot first baseman they got from Cincinnati a number of years ago, and he couldn't do a damn thing? I think it was Cincinnati.
Yeah.
God dang it, what was his name?
I can't think of it.
He was the size of a house.
I couldn't hit worth a...
No.
Darn. He was played in Texas, too. But, God, what's his name?
I can't remember.
He hits like 170.
Yeah.
And all he does is hit either home run or strikeout.
That guy
I can't
was
think of his name.
absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
People are texting in on the rough and rowdy brawls that Barstool Sports does, and they say they're hilarious.
Oh, I've never saw it.
I haven't seen one either.
Who else? Can they give us a rundown of what matches we've missed so far?
Well, this person says it's basically picking your best candidates from a Midwestern Walmart to fight. That's how they describe it.
So it's not always not always famous people. Joey Gatto.
Joey Gallo.
Gallo. Joey Gallo.
Yeah, Joey Gallo. Yeah.
That's right, Joey Gallo. Yeah, Texas is where he came from, Texas.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a first baseman.
Well, he played outfield and first base.
I still think maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Did the Twins have Adam Dunn?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Just for kicks, I looked up Joey's stats last year. He hit a robust 161 last year with Washington.
161.
Yeah.
I still think Gallo's a great answer because he couldn't hit. I mean, he was a big guy, but I'm picturing a first baseman. Here it is. Logan Morrison.
Oh, sure.
That's who I was thinking of.
He was here for a cup of coffee.
I don't remember this guy at all.
But Gallo's a good answer, too, because he was terrible.
Yeah.
But Logan Morrison was the guy. Yep. I think he wore 99 on his jersey.
Well, they also had C.J. Crone for a while.
Oh, but he was good.
He was decent.
C.J. Crone was good.
Yeah. He was a cone. Yeah.
Oh, not C.J. Cone. C.J. Crone.
He's a crone.
Crone was not a cone.
Who we paid that Morrison guy $6.5 million.
And now your Minnesota Wild update brought to you by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Minnesota Wild update. No, just give me a minute. Just trying to find something to update you on. I could give you the 4 food groups schedule for tomorrow. You want to wait?
Who cares?
The 4 food groups tournament starts tomorrow. Should I wait till tomorrow?
God, who cares?
Yeah, you should save it for tomorrow.
I'll save it for tomorrow.
Tournament.
I can tell you what Pigs players are playing in the 4 food group.
Don't care about
you
that
don't want to
either.
hear them.
Wondering whose idea was that? Good grief.
I don't know.
God,
There hasn't even been any new posts from like the Minnesota Wild pup or anything either.
Yeah, give us some dog content at least.
It's so dead.
Man, 2 weeks of that. Just brutal.
All right, well, so I'll tell you about what Wild players are in the 4 horsemen. No. I'll tell you tomorrow.
Well, you know who is excited about is Marcus Foligno because he's in Mexico right now.
Oh, yeah,
Let
that's
him
right.
enjoy it.
It's your Minnesota Wild update brought to you by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Well, just 2 weeks until they play again. So
2 weeks. God.
I enjoy all these trade rumors. I really do. And it never fails to fire you 2 guys up. I love trade rumors.
What sport are we talking about here?
Let's see. We're gonna go football. Okay.
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 You guys know the Vikings are still looking into trading their head coach.
No, they're not going to trade their head
I'm just going to play along with you. Yeah, okay. I heard
Sheldon O'Sullivan. And now this here, that J.J. McCarthy punk.
Yeah.
Latest rumor. Will be traded to the New York Jets.
No, he won't.
What pick do they have? Are we getting their first-round pick back?
I don't know. A feller by the name of Seth Trachtman of a website called Yard Barker predicts that McCarthy will be traded to the New York Jets.
No.
If we get their first-round pick back, I might do it.
Okay. It says here the Vikings could look to cash in on their first-rounder from last year. The Jets are among the teams desperate for a quarterback after the Aaron Rodgers disaster. The Vikings currently have just 4 picks in this year's draft. Trading McCarthy could help them recoup valuable draft capital. All right. Here's who's playing in the tournament tomorrow. Another rumor going around is that Aaron Rodgers' next ball club will be...
Heard this one. Minnesota Vikings.
I'm tired of this.
No.
Stop telling me that you've heard things.
No.
Just act like it's brand new to you, Brad Ryder.
No.
No, it's not the Minnesota Vikings.
Not?
Thank you.
Another
Thank
rumor.
you.
Well, no, that rumor still is out there, but this is a new rumor. That rumor is still out there.
No.
This is a new rumor.
No.
Is that Aaron Rodgers' next ball club will be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, God, I cannot see that.
Now.
No, I can't do
There's no way that Mike Tomlin's going to put up with that. No way.
Now, maybe you want to hear from a player, a current player for the Steelers.
No way.
6-year NFL veteran. What does he do for a living? He's a safety. He goes by the name of Deshaun Elliott. He was asked about the rumor of Aaron Rodgers coming to play in Pittsburgh, and he said, direct quote, leave his ass in the retirement home.
Yeah, there you go.
He really did say that.
That's awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the funniest possible ending to Aaron Rodgers' career. Just nobody wants him. Because that's the one thing he craves more than wins. He wants attention. Right. He wants to be in the spotlight. And the fact that it's just kind of all just womp, womp.
It's just unceremoniously ends his career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he should just walk away. He should retire right now, even though I know he doesn't want to, and just be done, because it just seems to feel worse and worse the more he wants to play. It just doesn't work.
I
think the chances that he would do that are probably better than you think, because it's not like he's going to go to Jacksonville or somewhere.
Yeah,
he's going to go somewhere where he thinks he can win. And those teams, there's probably 8 to 10 teams that he would consider going to.
Very few people go to Jacksonville.
Willingly.
I've been there.
General.
Yeah, I can see why.
It sucks, doesn't it?
It does.
Is it as bad as people say?
It does, yes. Yeah, not good.
Now, this is hilarious. Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker, stupid name, and folks tell me he's also a stupid person. Once the ball game was over Sunday night, he looked in his locker and realized that someone had stolen all of his clothes.
Oh, my God. It's like regular clothes?
Yeah. What do you mean? What other kind of clothes are there?
Well, I thought maybe his uniform.
No.
Pants
He's standing there in his uniform right after the ball game, looks into his locker and realized someone stole all of his clothes. It was even later.
Trick on him?
No. Locker room reporters said that when they left, Butker was still standing there in a towel wondering where his clothes were at.
It's like something you do to your varsity teammate.
How does that happen with Super Bowl security the way it is?
Well, Brady's Super Bowl jersey got heisted out of the...
Well, that was an inside job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This could have been an inside job, too.
Maybe this was, too. This is the other...
Well, it had to have been.
This is the other angle to this hilarious story about Harrison Butker. He was wearing a towel, which leads me to believe he showered after the game. Why he needed a shower is beyond me. He had no field goal attempts and no extra point attempts in Sunday night's game.
He never got on the field other than kickoffs.
Yeah. Just like supposed all-time great tight end Travis Kelce, Butker didn't do dick in that ball game. So why did he take a shower?
Yeah.
Loser.
Standing there in a towel, everyone else is on the bus. That's hilarious.
It'd be funny if he just wore his uniform on.
Yeah. It's like a kid going home from a Little League game.
And finally.
Well, they might have had some T-shirts or something saying they won the Super Bowl. They always
could have used those. Yeah.
Or some of the Eagles players probably would have given him some of their T-shirts.
He wears an Eagles Super Bowl champion shirt.
Can you imagine?
To the bus.
And finally, boys, a Minnesota young man who considers himself a recreational disc golf player broke a world record by completing a full 18-hole round of disc golf in 4 minutes and 58 some odd seconds. Whoa. Now, I've never been anywhere near
How is that possible?
A disc golf course because I have a reputation to uphold. So I don't have any idea how impossible that is. I have no idea what a normal round of... his name is Jonathan Wolfrath. Sounds like he should have been a member of the Scorpions or something.
Wolfrath. That sounds like an 80s rock band for sure, like an early 80s.
The video of
Waffle, you're a disc golfer. Is it such a thing as a par 3 disc golf course? Maybe he played one of those.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
The video of it is up on 93x.com.
The full 5 minutes of his disc golf run?
Yeah.
You didn't hurt our bandwidth by uploading something that big?
When I've been disc golfing, granted, I'm usually not 100% sober. It's usually about, at least in like an hour and a half ordeal.
Okay.
Yeah, usually like 2 hours. And I hate when these people do this. When they're disc golfing, they have one disc, they throw it, and then they run after it. No, you're not supposed to be getting that much exercise.
I love watching them do this.
Oh, you're making the rest of you guys feel bad?
Yeah, it's like, dude, no.
Dude, I love watching people do this.
Well, this guy says the record combined 2 of his favorite recreational sports, disc golf and running. Man, he and I have very different things.
This guy want to party or what?
Very different favorite things, I should have said.
Say running is a favorite.
He said if running and disc golf had a baby, it would be me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I kind of like him now.
Another direct quote. The universe whispered to me to do this record.
Oh, boy.
He went to a course in Fridley. Oh, no. He went to Fridley?
Maybe that's why he was running.
He wasn't running. He was running from something else in Ridley.
But he broke the old record for the fastest round. Disc golf is how you say it, and he said he's not done with records. Look out for most disc golf holes played in 24 hours. That record is mine. Go ahead, dude.
I wonder what that record is now.
Feel free.
I doubt too many folks are going to be battling you for that one either. But,
no.
You know who was probably miserable was the cameraman following him around because he's got to run after him.
Or the Guinness people, too. I didn't know I had to run today.
He's obviously a funny guy, though, so have at it there, Mr. Wolfrath. Yeah, he sounds like an ex-member of Halloween.
Yeah, that's a sweet last name.
He had to have spent some amount of time in a German power metal band when your name is Jonathan Wolfrath. Like Halloween's bass player is Marcus Krofkoff. Anyway, go ahead, Ashley.
I don't know if anybody cares, but I find it pretty interesting. The most disc golf holes played in 24 hours is 2,900. That's a lot.
Holy cow.
That's too much.
Yeah, that's going to hurt the shoulder.
That'll kill a guy. It'll just straight up kill a guy. All right, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, wonderful things. Wonderful things. Don't you want to say goodbye?
Oh, I didn't know we were saying goodbye.
I didn't know that was the cue. I thought you were setting up something else.
He was waiting for more compliments.
Sounds good. I'll chat with you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks, boys. We'll be back in a few minutes here on the program.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
No one knows music like Rolling Stone. Senior writer Brian Hyatt talks the biggest music news from the biggest stars.
Raphael Sadiq. So there's a whole lot to talk about. Bodyguard, that's kind of your song. Did you originally intend it for Beyonce?
Everything is for me in the beginning.
Okay. Take us through the life story of the Notorious B.I.G.
Here's this 14-year-old kid who feels like a prodigy.
We were also supposed to have an interview with Ghostface Killah, but he kind of ghosted on us, which I guess is appropriate.
Rolling Stone Music Now. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, all right. Now we're going to go this way. Now we're going to take a whole different direction here. Damn, you're a great crowd. Thanks for listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We've received some hilarious text messages as usual today. You make it fun. You do. Here's a text that I hope you really like. A listener texted in to say, I'm not listening live, but I had to tell someone that the little dude working next to me today has some apocalyptic gas.
Oh, sorry.
Yuck.
He doesn't think anyone is noticing. But they texted in to say, if I can't find my way out of this cloud, just know that you folks have made every work day better. Not great, but definitely better. Love you. Says he loves us. We love him too.
Yeah.
That's all we aim for.
That could be the gas fumes making him feel that way, but either way, that's a very nice thing to say.
I told him to get out of there, and he did text back. His update is that he's currently hiding in the work truck.
Yeah, I know a couple people that it can get pretty bad and really ruin a work day or otherwise.
All right, Josh. True story, right? One day, you actually sat down and read, front to back, our company handbook.
Yes, I've done that each year they require us to.
They require us to?
Yeah, that kind of got me nervous.
As a matter of fact, you signed something saying you read it.
Yep.
Well, that was that what I did there was illegal. you sat down and read front to back our company handbook, every word. Sometimes I think you're truly out of your mind, but that is a true story. So, Josh, you tell us, what kind of days off are we allowed around here? We get sick days?
Yeah, you get, I believe, six sick days.
Personal days?
I think, yes, they've added 1 or 2 personal days.
Bereavement?
Bereavement is an excused absence.
What's the big word when you make a baby and you need to take some time off?
Maternity leave.
Maternity
leave, yeah.
What about paternity leave? That for the father, right?
There is some paternity leave.
Mental health days?
I think that falls under a personal day.
Wow. We should start using more of these.
Well,
that's a lot of days.
Up until COVID, you and I never used a sick day.
No, we didn't. Says here in the future, but really we should start taking better advantage of that, of all we just talked about.
Yep, never taken a personal day.
No. Says here in the future, not just speaking of this particular company that we work for here, what do they call the joint again?
Where we work?
Cumulus Media.
Oh.
I didn't know where you were going.
Yeah, I thought you were joking.
Not just speaking directly about us, but Air Buddy. It says here in the future, companies might be able to offer a sex day.
Well, then.
Workers might be able to take for themselves, look, I'm a little burned out. I'm taking a sex day.
Does that have something to do with the fact that the population is declining? Or not declining, I guess like the...
People are making babies like they used to.
Thank you, Dana.
People are not, I did not know this. We are not making babies the way we used to?
No.
That is great news, in my opinion.
It didn't
I don't
say anything about
that.
that.
There's no real source.
Is that an issue here in America? I've heard it in other countries where they're even incentivizing people to have kids.
Right.
I thought
don't know
it was.
if you'd consider it an issue, but it is happening.
What was the last...
I thought it was because everyone's getting married a lot later, not moving out of their parents' houses.
Oh, I got a cousin that'll tell you, Wapple, you don't have to be married to make babies.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I got a couple, too.
My wife's half-sister, same thing. The half-sister she found out she had when she was 20-some years old, and that my wife found out she was the second family of her father.
That's a good time.
That is such dramatic stuff right there. I love that. One more time. Your wife, as an adult, found out that one more time with that.
She found out that she was the second family. They suspected maybe Dad had something on the side, and then once her father passed, she found out she has older siblings, which she never knew about.
Right.
Her dad had a whole separate family.
Secret, separate family, and then she got to meet some of that secret, separate family.
Yeah, and her older sister has several kids in marriage. I don't know if that ever entered her mind.
Okay, back to the motivation behind dumping a sex day on us. I'll get to that, although there may be limited information on the motivation. But what were we saying? Babies. Yes, Josh, you said there are certain countries that you have to say the word because I can't.
Incentivize. Like I think
Couples to
China had done that, because...
Do you remember, we talked about it not that long ago. What were some of the bonuses people were receiving if they make babies? Do you recall that at all?
Certainly tax benefits.
But wasn't it something from their direct employers? Sorry I brought it up because I can't remember, and now I'm putting pressure on you to remember something from 3 months ago, but I haven't heard that we're dropping as far as baby numbers here in America. I was unaware. That's not really my thing. The sex day. A new report says it's possible that workplaces may start providing special days for sexual wellness. These so-called sex days will be dedicated time off for intimacy, health, and related needs.
You know, there was a day back in the day where you'd need like a week. But the POVs era, you couldn't be a sex day. You'd probably need a sex week to try and fit everything in. Can you imagine if you had to fit it into one day off? That's impossible.
I was a slut, is what you're trying to say.
Yes, essentially.
I was a slut.
It happens.
In a survey, more than 3 out of 5 employees support the idea of a paid or an unpaid sex day.
Who's not supporting that? Come on, loser.
I do think it would be an uncomfortable thing to say to the boss, hey, I'm taking tomorrow off. Oh, you got an appointment, funeral? No, I'm going to do some boning.
It's funny you bring that up. Because that question was asked to the general public. No one asked us, but apparently someone out there, a group of people were asked about this idea of a sex day. 1 in 5 would feel comfortable approaching their manager about taking a sex day or a sexual wellness day. Well, once it's dumped into the company policy, what are you uncomfortable about?
That's a good point.
You know?
And we've got the type of relationship with our boss where I wouldn't be uncomfortable talking about that at all.
No.
Not at all, no.
Like Smokey says in the documentary Friday, take advantage, man. Take advantage. If you're offered a sex day, take it. What are they going to do? Send the boss over there and make sure you're having sex? Sleep in, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
Take it.
Gamer Jesus wants a masturbation day. How do I need sex?
Well, but I would believe now, because of the verbiage that I dumped on you, if, sex day is the rough term. In your company handbook, it's going to, where is this? Yes, sexual wellness, intimacy, health.
I don't do sex very well. Nobody would say I have any wellness as far as the sex.
But I would imagine that masturbation would fall under that umbrella.
I'm sure it would.
Absolutely.
I think you're right.
So-
Or even like pap smears. Things
Oh,
along
my
the
God.
Sexual health, a day where you go get tested to see if you have an STD or whatever.
I've never had one. Is it required? What age should I start?
A pap smear?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a little late. You've got some making up to do, I think.
All right, I just looked that up and I feel like a fool.
How about that? A stinking sex day. Well, now, I don't know, maybe, is there a chance in hell that this is already happening somewhere and we just haven't heard about it?
Sometimes like those tech companies, they'll have like wild ideas. I could see this happening there. I mean, we've heard of companies that have masturbation pods. It's usually in the adult industry. But
Right.
there's places that have
Right.
napping pods and things like that.
Oh, nap pod would be great.
Sexual Wellness Day. Yeah, I don't think I can stick around anymore today, boss. What's going on? I feel like really giving it to the old lady.
I wonder how this would work.
I'm going
Isn't
to take
like
my sex day.
that's what the lunch hour is for, right? How much time do you need? 24 hours? That's ridiculous.
Now, furthermore, in discussing work, this is how they put it. A workplace has been exposed by an employee that posted the company's attendance policy. Ashley, pay close attention to this.
I sent this.
Did you think maybe I shouldn't send this?
No, because this is insane.
A workplace has been exposed by an employee that posted the company's attendance policy, and some are saying that their policy is off the charts, too much. You tell me. Here's the exact verbiage on their attendance policy. Number 1, all call-ins, as far as sick days go, all call-ins will be by phone, not text, to the store phone, and you must speak to a manager on duty. I can understand why that would be part of the policy.
That's how it used to be when I worked in the restaurant industry. Yep.
Oh, yeah, when we were younger, that's how it was. I mean, that's more difficult to do, right?
I guess I did get. I eventually had the type of relationship with my manager where I could just text him if he was the one working.
You got to talk to the boss. You got to talk to him. Live telephone conversation, no text messages. You can't text your coworker, Donnie, and tell him to tell the boss that you're not coming in because you're not feeling well.
Can you imagine if we had to text our boss, Derek, or call him at like 1 a.m? He'd be like, okay, cool. I don't care. Don't bother me.
Oh, he doesn't like it when you call him in the first place. He's a text guy.
He'd be like, are you dying? Do you need my help with it? Then, okay, don't call me.
I'll figure it out when I don't hear you.
Yeah. So far, I don't have a problem with this. If I was a boss, that's the way I'd like it to be. You got to talk to me on the telephone. No emails, text messages. It can't be secondhand information that you're not coming in. All calls must be at least 3 hours in advance of your scheduled time to supply adequate time to find coverage for you. Find someone to cover your ass. 3 hours ahead of time.
I worked at a job where it was at least 2 hours ahead of time.
Yeah, in the restaurants, it was always three or four.
Okay, knowing you, Ashley, how many times did you break that policy?
Never.
You never once broke that 2 hour ahead of time policy?
No.
You
I never had an issue until I started working early mornings.
It is pretty early. Anyone who is calling in sick due to an illness, well, that only makes sense that you're calling in sick.
Yeah.
Anyone calling in will be asked to bring a doctor note.
That's kind of ridiculous.
You think so?
Yeah, go ahead. See if you can make a doctor's appointment right now.
I know.
That used to be easier. That used to be much easier. I was at the doctor this past weekend, and that was one of the first 2 questions she asked me was, do you need a doctor's note? It's like, for what? What are you going to write? Hey, she is sick. Here you go.
You're going to have an urgent care bill if you actually want to meet a doctor.
Exactly.
Maybe she thought you are very young looking. Maybe she thought you were a high school student and needed to pass it on to the principal or something like that.
That is true.
So you need to bring a doctor's note. This note must include your name, your date of birth, the time of your doctor's visit, the diagnosis, and when you can return to work. I'm not sure I understand this. If there are any restrictions, they must be specific and included on the excuse. All medical excuses will be verified. So
I believe.
They're going to make a telephone call, I guess, and verify your diagnosis.
I believe it's a felony to forge a doctor's note, too.
Sounds right.
Well,
is it really?
Something tells me no one's going to do any real time over that. But,
yeah, true.
Now, here are some examples of excused. Okay, so we did find some problems with that particular verbiage. A doctor's note. Yeah. Very specific. You need the time, the diagnosis, when exactly you can get back to work. I mean, some of those questions can't be answered. So I guess we found some faults there. Examples of excused absences are medical illness such as the flu, COVID, or pneumonia, bronchitis, jaundice.
Hey, man, I got jaundice.
I got a wicked case of jaundice.
What?
If you have to have, or you have recently had surgery, that will be an excused absence. Car accidents with a police report.
Sometimes that doesn't happen, though.
You can't just tell your boss, look, I got in a friggin' car wreck. He's going to want to see the police report. A death in the immediate family will be excused.
That part bothers me because your immediate family isn't that large. So you're telling me that if, like, I have an uncle that I'm really close to? Nah. I can't go to his funeral. Or my best friend died? Nope. I got to show up to work.
I hear you. Now, here are the examples of unexcused absences. These are fun.
Yeah.
You can't call in and say you got an overhang. Come on.
I think most bosses would respect the fact that you called and actually told the truth. Like, hey, I'm just so bad, dude. I'm going to be a pile today.
Look at it this way. This is just one company. At least I'm not, telling you a story of some broad revolution going on. This is just one company. Most bosses will say, yeah, we don't need you here if you're just going to be a pile of garbage hung over to beat hell. But if you do it repeatedly, you could be in some real trouble. I have a buddy who once went to work, again, an early morning guy like we are, once went to work, and by God, he was hungover. But he made it. He made it. I always made it, too. Some bitch, my pal, sat down in his chair, readying himself for work, and the boss took one look at him and said, get the hell out of here. Jesus Christ, look at you. Luckily, he didn't do it very often. Okay, more unexcused absences at this particular workplace. Cramps.
This one pisses me off a lot.
Don't be calling in with your cramps.
There are women out there who suffer enormously from their period cramps that I condemn them for being able to even get out of bed.
So this guy or girl, the company.
I think you meant commend them, just so to
commend.
Save a text.
Thank you.
What did she say?
Thank you for that. I didn't want to go back. I was like, it's too far gone already.
I just figured you're going to get a bunch of texts on it, so I threw that out.
Thank you.
I was in favor of you condemning people. I was. This sounds like a good way to get sued, doesn't it, Josh?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and people are mentioning, hey, you can't put the diagnosis on a doctor's note. There's HIPAA rights and things like that.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I'm glad they brought that up. I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know a damn thing about such.
I mean, if you fake it, your coworkers are going to give you crap. That's going to stop some people right there. You're going to get a lot of help.
Do not call in to this company. This is an unexcused absence that you didn't do your laundry.
Didn't you know a guy that?
Yes, pants were wet.
Yeah,
right?
pants were. Yeah, you can't.
They're still in the dryer.
Can't call in and say you stayed up late. Sorry, my voice took off on me there. You can't call in and say I stayed up late and I'm too tired. It's amazing how many people do think these are legitimate excuses, though.
Oh, yeah, and I've told you, this is the best one I've heard is a guy I know, he's a carpenter, and he has a small crew. 3 guys work for him. And one guy disappeared at lunch, and he called young guy, and he called him and said, "Hey, what happened? Are you all right?" And he said, "Yeah, why?" Like, well, you're supposed to be back at work.
Why?
And he said, "Where are you?" He's like, "I'm standing in line at Best Buy. I got to get a PS5." And he said, "What do you mean you got to get it?" "Well, if I don't, they're going to be sold out, and I'm not going to be able to get one for a while." And it didn't compute for this kid that that's not a legit reason to miss work. And he never told anybody about it.
It's amazing. Don't call in. But we'd have trouble with this policy. We'd have real trouble with this policy. It's not an excuse absence if you call the boss and say, I'm not showing up because I don't like the employees that I work with. You can't say I had a flat tire. They don't care. Get your ass to work. You can't say I have no ride. They say get on the bus. Use Uber or Lyft. You can't say my pet died or gave birth or has fleas.
I don't think I want somebody coming into work whose pet has fleas.
That's a good point. Yes. I mean, like now with like sick stuff, how many times back in the day, you never said anything, but now we're like, just stay away. We don't need to shut the show down because a couple people are sick.
You can't say that I couldn't get a babysitter. That also sounds like a good way to get sued. You can't say you got pulled over. Get to work at this particular company. I'll tell you what, I know we got to take a break. But many years ago at a warehouse job, and I'm not trying to sound unsympathetic. We all love our pets. And when they check out on us, it's a sad thing.
Yeah.
I watched a grown man, scream, cry, inconsolable, had to leave work because his dog died. And I really couldn't believe my eyes. I'd never seen anyone react that way to a human death. And it wasn't as if he went to work and the dog got run over by a garbage truck or something. Oh. This dog was on its way out for months. And over the intercom, Donnie, can you come to the front office? You got a phone call. And he goes up there, and we could hear him in the warehouse. We could hear him in the office go,
oh, no.
Poor Donnie. Who called him during work? What the heck?
His wife or something.
Just wait.
And he came back, because he and I worked butt to butt, in the warehouse together. And he came back and he tried to do it. And 10 minutes later, the scream crying started off. I'm telling you, I thought I was in a friggin' horror movie or something.
Pro Painter Jesus said his nephew took a day off because of chapped nipples once and showed up late so he could charge his phone.
That's brilliant.
All right, we got to take a break. Be right back.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, is that all the thanks I get for the native hot sex?
We've covered a lot this morning. We've given a lot. Don't you think, Josh?
Yeah.
We've given just about everything. We talked about the possibility, one day maybe, amongst all the different ways to get a day off at work. You got your sick days, you got your personal days, you got your mental health days, bereavement days. What's the word again for baby making?
Sex?
Maternity days.
Maternity leave.
Oh, after the baby's born?
Right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Sex?
But speaking of sex, there's a possibility that someday down the road, when you read your company handbook, you'll find out that you are allowed 1, 2, 3, I don't know how many, sex days. A day that you can take to yourself for sexual wellness. And the boss will have to up and give it to you. Very interesting. One female listener texted in to say that she runs a company with her husband. And she's not sure how it works. She says, do I have to have sex with him on my sex day, or can I pick the individual?
Well, you make the policy as your own boss.
Yeah, right. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, bring it up to the board.
Yeah.
See what you guys come up with.
You're the one drawing it up, Creative Outlook. She says. Now, then the conversation, of course, drifted over to ridiculous reasons that people miss work. Guy texted in to say one of his employees called in sick for the week.
Just knew in advance?
Look, I'm not going to be here all week, he said. And when he asked him why, he said, I took a bad hit of acid.
Oh, no.
Army mechanic Jesus said he's had numerous call-outs from employees after breaking up with their girlfriend.
Oh, with their who?
Their girlfriend. Girlfriend.
You can't take a day off work because you broke up with your girlfriend.
No, you can't do that. Rompin' Stompin' Tiger P. Jesus said one thing he learned in management is cars start and work perfectly after work, but not so much in the morning.
Funny.
It got warmer out.
Right.
What do you mean?
How often do you see your employees struggling to start their cars after work?
It works after work.
Never see that. Josh, help us out with this one. Because you read company handbooks. Now, one individual texted in to say Minnesota has some kind of a law or a rule called sick safe time. Bosses can't legally ask you why you're gone until more than 3 days have gone by. I've never heard of that.
I mean, it doesn't say anything like that, but they're not going to put that in there, right?
Nah.
What we're legally allowed to and not do.
They put that in the smallest print possible.
Very bottom.
This person said that a coworker called in because it was his wife's Aunt Flo which came to town. I can't come in. My wife's on her period.
What the hell? Don't you want to leave the house when the wife is on the...
I guess if she wants him there, that might be smarter just to call in.
I never considered that. Where the hell are you going?
We talked about this company who... they kind of come off like a pack of hard-ons when you read their policies on attendance. They kind of come off like a pack of dicks. One of the things they mentioned is there will be no excused absence for pet death. And that hurts some people, I bet, deep down inside. Pet death? Nope. We'll see you at work. And I told you about this dude from a warehouse job I had decades ago where he got a phone call at work to find out his dog had died. And he knew this was coming. Again, this wasn't like the dog got wrapped up in the wheels of a semi or something. He knew this dog. He talked about how his dog was dying over and over and over again. And when he got the phone call from his wife or something, he lost it. I've never seen, like I said before, I've never seen anyone react this way to a human death. And the guy had to leave work. Now, I'm not trying to be unsympathetic. Like I said, we all love our pets. But it does make me think of one of my favorite jokes of all time. Can I close out my end of things with a joke, Josh?
I love jokes.
I love this one. So a guy is at a cemetery, and he's visiting the gravesite of a dead relative. and he hears in the distance another man just wailing, crying. And the dude has to go over and find out what's going on. So he walks up, and there is another grown man on his knees in front of a tombstone, and he's screaming, "Why? Why did you have to die? Oh, God, why? Why?" And he walks up to the man, and he says, "Excuse me, sir, is that your wife?" And the second guy says, "No! It's my wife's first husband."
We got a shout out here to the puppyhood. A puppy named Ozzy is going in for surgery today. He's a good boy, and his family loves him very much. That's from Vulcan Warrior Jesus. So good luck with that surgery. Still in the gutter, Jesus texts the Luther Bloomington Kia text line a happy 40th birthday to his smoke show of a wife, Jenna. Happy 38th to Nikki. And happy birthday for Anna turning the big 03 from Dad podcasting, Jesus. And Ashley has a pretty exciting contest going on right now.
Yeah, we have something really great going on for the sisterhood.
Josh already said that. He said it's great.
It's for the sisterhood, though.
Yeah.
I have to make that clear.
But I said it was pretty great.
That was the maddest she's ever been at me right there. Did you see the look on her face?
We want to hear your craziest, wildest, funniest Valentine's Day stories that you have. You can submit your story on 93x.com until tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll be picking a winner either late tomorrow or on Valentine's Day. Not exactly sure when you'll get the phone call. But the winner will receive a tennis bracelet from Landmark Jewelers. And it's worth or valued at around $5,000. So it's a really good prize. So make sure you submit your story. Even if you think it sucks, we want to hear them all. And yeah, maybe it'll get read on air too if it's good enough. You never know.
Sucky stories can be fun too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's worth sending it in. It's worth it.
We want to hear them all.
The guy who was driving through Anoka.
That story comes up all the time. It was the worst story ever told on the show. But it's one of the more memorable.
If you're a longtime listener, you know the reference. Like the dude who was driving around Anoka. That was a terrible story that went nowhere.
His buddy was with him. He described his buddy in a particular way. They did a U-turn, if you remember.
We're still talking about it to this day.
93X.
Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us. We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com.